I have a lot of friends who are sober, a lot of friends who are straight edge, a lot of my friends who are going through it. I know struggling with substance abuse and alcoholism can be really, really hard, especially knowing who to turn to. It can be really, really daunting. I'm here to say that a good friend of mine and his friend started this incredible treatment center called Refine Recovery. They gave me a phone number, 855-516-3332. You can text, you can call them. It's totally confidential. It's safe. There'll be somebody on the other line to help you out, a compassionate human being to talk to help you navigate the process, the insurance treatments. They accept most of private insurances. You can go refinerecovery.com, Refine Recovery Instagram. I know it's hard, but reach out to somebody, man. People care about you. People love you. People want you to be here for a long time. People love you in their lives. If you're going through it, make this phone call. It's totally private. I know people DM me all the time about going through it and going through sobriety and trying to get straight and trying to take care of themselves. And the struggle is totally real. And Refine Recovery is the definitely move. Reach out to them, 855-516-3332, or text them, 855-516-3332. You can call or text this number anytime, 855-516-3332. You know the drill. This number is here for you to call. As we get older, we start paying attention to what we put in our bodies. I personally have been listening to my body since I was 18 when I went vegan. I've always been focused on my health. It's super important, mental and physical health. But it's really important for people who are just starting to get more healthy and trying to step up their life. Doing your homework, reading the labels, researching and verifying everything that's quality. It's part of the game these days. That's why I started drinking AG1s. I'm so proud to have them sponsor my podcast. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut support and is backed by multiple research studies. You can trust what you're putting into your body. We're all so busy these days, so just throw a pack of AG1 in the morning into a cup of water and shake it up and drink it. I love the way it tastes. I do it every single morning. It's part of my routine. I bring the packets on tour. It's an incredible life changer for me. Many supplements only reference research from ingredients in their product, but I trust AG1 in my daily routine because it's constantly putting the formula to the test. It's backed by multiple research studies, and one of those research studies, AG1 was shown to have double the amount of healthy bacteria in the gut, which is super important because these help digestion in the immune system and the immune health. And these bacteria are known to help with digestion as well, gas and bloating, which I freaking need. And it also promotes regular bowel movements, what I can attest to. In another research study, 97% participants felt more energy after 30 days, and 91% of the participants noticed that they needed less coffee after 60 days. I quit coffee like 5 months ago. I know I'm good on that. But AG1 is packed with a variety of nutrient-dense ingredients and is the perfect complement to my healthy diet. I drink it because I know it's going to work, and it gives me a peace of mind covering all my nutrition bases for the day. In fact, I trust it so much, that's why I'm spreading the word about it. That's why it sponsors my podcast. Thanks to Angie Huberman for turning me on to AG1s, connecting me with them, and now they're part of my podcast. It's so easy and satisfying to start your day with AG1s. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of the vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your purchase at drinkag1.com/OLLC. That's drinkag1.com/OLLC. It's never been a better time to focus on your health and wellness and get back on track, man. Take control of your daily health. Health is wealth. Got to give a big shout out to Liquid Death. I've been in a band called H2O for 30 years, and my first real job with a company is a water brand. Go figure. Love you, Liquid Death. Love the people. Love the brand. Love the concept. Love what they give back. Love the community. Love what they do for the environment. You can go liquiddeath.com/OLLC and get free shipping on any of their merchandise that they make. They have such incredible collabs. Also, if you want to hear the story of the CEO, my good friend Mike Cesario, on the podcast, you can go to episode 115, part 1. And then 2 years later, we dropped a part 2, which is episode 275 with the CEO, Mike Cesario. Just a man from Delaware with a dream, worked at a marketing company, and made this become a reality. Liquid Death is an incredible company, incredible water, incredible people. And I'm super, super honored to be part of them. They sponsor my life. They sponsor everything, my family. So go liquiddeath.com/OLLC and get free shipping on anything you want to buy on that site. If you want to get water, it's exclusively on Amazon.com. Murder your thirst, y'all. Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have in front of me a friend from many, many, many years, and actually, he was on episode 17, which is so crazy. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Sammy Siegler. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Toby.
17, dude. I'm like on 317 right now. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I remember that
We
one.
did it in my office.
That's right. And actually, I feel like that lunch we had was sort of where you were pitching the idea to someone, or that was kind of like the kickoff of you getting the green light to do the podcast, maybe, at Crossroads that time?
We were talking about it. You're right.
Yeah. So I feel like I got some roots. Don't forget your roots.
You do have some roots, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was before I started it. Maybe we were talking about it, or right as I started before the pandemic. I think 2009. Yeah, it was 2019 you're on.
Yeah.
My first year.
And 17, that one that we did in the past, you were good, but I could see that you were just kind of getting your angle together. But
we were in the office too. It was weird.
Yeah, no sidekicks.
And, no front porch photo either, I don't think.
Nothing. Raw.
Fuck, we're going there today.
It's hardcore.
How you been all these years?
Shit.
You've been doing a lot though. Well, first and foremost, you're currently playing in Civ, Youth of Today, Shelter, Judge, 7 Seconds, Side by Side, Rival Schools. Yes. Maybe World Be Free. You haven't played a show in a minute for that, but
yeah,
you've been fucking nonstop. Trust Records, Revelation Records.
I've been hustling, and but yes, it's funny occasionally to step back. Like right now, it's September, and between now and the end of the year, I'm playing with 7 Seconds, Rival Schools, Civ, Judge, and Shelter.
Dude,
talk
about being a full-time musician again. And you're balancing family, and you're working for these labels too as well. Are you still doing Revelation stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all kind of connected. The hardcore bands I play in, Revelation's hardcore, Trust Records hardcore.
Yeah.
So it's like it is all sort of connected in a way. And it came together naturally. And like, as you know, it's just been years of kind of doing this stuff. So it sort of builds up to this. But it's funny with the bands, like I catch myself, I'm kind of that guy in the band or maybe in life that just sort of pushes like, cool, like, shit, I want to do that, so let me try. I want to do that, let me try. We should be doing that. Hey, that band's playing that fast. How come we're not playing that fast? Let me try them, not to be a punisher about it, but just let me let me hustle and let me see what can come from it. And it's funny when you put that energy out there that before you know it, holy shit, like we're actually, this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you like the manager for the bands that you're in?
Some of them. It's so, and that's also kind of fun to have like different, to sort of compare different experiences. But, 7 Seconds has a manager, Rival Schools has a manager, but the other ones I kind of, we self-manage, and that usually ends up being me.
Totally.
Some have booking agents, some don't, but it is sort of fun.
You book stuff too?
Yeah. I mean, like for Judge, it's like someone I it's funny because the real wild part is managing the socials. So
you manage all the socials?
I manage all the socials plus Revelation plus Trust plus Rev HQ. So it's like I'm bouncing around between like 7 or 8 socials, which is kind of
social media all day long.
I feel like I'm able to cap it. Like, let me just bang through this, reply, repost, delete, whatever, and I'm good. Like a half an hour to an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, some days it's a little bit intense.
But you're really working on that. It's really working.
Yeah. If you have launches, like if you're a big announcer or whatever on 2 or 3 things, it's like shit.
It's a necessary evil of social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially for what we do.
Yeah, you gotta I did the what's it called? The mental health hardcore therapist, podcast the other day.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, which was really fun.
Is that One Step Beyond? No, that's a different one.
No, but it was really cool. But I was just thinking about like mental health, and I was just thinking of like, just constantly checking in with yourself. And I think with my Instagram fucking social media chaos, I like have to do that. Like just like shit, am I? Yeah, put it down.
Do you do that?
Away.
Do you like give yourself time?
I do.
Take care of yourself?
I'm in a bad rut right. I'm deep in it right now. Like when your fingers hurt.
Yeah.
And shit.
Carpal tunnel with your hands.
But I'm psyched. To be honest, when I go away to play shows, I do it less. So that's kind of nice part about traveling and stuff. I just like don't have time.
Are you sleeping good? You sleep at night good?
I do. My wife says I snore.
That means you're sleeping deep though. That's a good sign.
Okay. I'm so. Like, am I snoring bad? Like, am I lose it? Like, is it like when you have to go apnea and
I doubt you have that.
Sometimes I'll share a room on tour with people. And I'm like, hey, did I snore? Like, no. Or I'm getting mixed reviews. So I sleep really good. You share a bed with someone. We've been together, my wife and I, we just had our 19th wedding anniversary. So it's like,
congratulations.
thank you. You share, and you've been, with Moon for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, sharing a bed with someone, it's like, you got to peaks and valleys.
It is.
some nights, no.
But then you go on tour and then you're by yourself, and that's kind of hard to sleep too.
Yeah.
You're sharing a room with a bandmate or something, or
But you get into a hotel room and you black it out and close the windows. Yeah. And it's a wrap. If I don't have to wake up.
So you're getting real rest when you're on tour almost.
I do. I like it. We had a funny rival schools. So bugged out. Like we were playing as a 3-piece, I think at the time. It was just Cash and Walter and I. And we confirmed this thing North by Northeast, which was like the Canadian South by Southwest.
Okay.
We confirmed it way in advance. And Walter just had a daughter. Cash had a daughter first. And then I had my daughter. This one show that we were playing the whole entire year happened to be on Father's Day.
Oh my God.
So we were all gone for Father's Day like idiots, driving up to Canada, the 3 of us in a car. But I remember, my daughter I think was probably 6 months or 8 months at the time. And I remember staying in a hotel and just being so psyched to just sleep. Like I hadn't slept, since she was born basically. And so that was nice to catch up and sleep.
Yeah, but the traveling though, you still love traveling. We were talking about earlier off the pod.
Yeah.
You especially traveling by yourself, you can just zone out and not have to deal with.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, it's nice to travel by myself. Traveling with the group's a bug out sometimes, like everyone checking in together. Waiting
for everybody. Some people have TSA pre-check. Some people do.
Some people don't. Rub it in.
Yeah.
You got it. Global entry.
It's kind of crazy when you leave like one of your bandmates in the dust. But my whole band has it now. I got it for my son too. But yeah, just traveling together like that with all that together is awesome. Yeah. Everybody having it.
Yeah.
What about jet lag? Does that fuck you up?
It does. It does. Yeah.
Are you sleeping on flights, like overnight flights?
The jet lag, even going to the East Coast, I grew up in New York and living out in LA now, but when I go back to the East Coast, like even that little 3-hour thing, it can fuck you up.
It's true, man. Yeah. But yeah, like sleeping on planes is super hard, man. Mm-hmm. And if you're up all night, then you get there and the first day is like that zombie walk. The day before your first show, you walk around all day. People get coffee. They try to stay up as late as possible. Your eyes are burning, and then try to get on that schedule, man.
Do you ever try and do, I've done it, and I kind of swear I don't do it anymore, but landing day of show playing that night.
Yeah, I'm doing that for Chile in a couple weeks.
That's tricky.
I know.
It sounds good on paper, like cool, I'll just land and then I'll shower and I'll play, but it's never a great show, maybe.
I know, so yeah, I might be upgrading for that. I upgraded my wife, I told you earlier, but I might upgrade for that one too, to sleep all night, wake up, play the show refreshed. Yeah. It's hard because for South America, there's only like 2 flights per week that are direct from Los Angeles. The rest are all like connecting flights. So we had to pick either a Monday or a Wednesday. So Adam's going like 3 days early because he likes to get there and get, walk the streets, get his steps in. Yeah. But yeah, everybody's different.
It's funny talking about sleeping well. Actually, like last night I looked at my phone briefly, which I tried not to do. Like I try and have rules. Like I'm not going to look at my phone, but I did.
In the dark at night?
At night, yeah.
Ooh.
And like one of the first things I see is like Boeing emergency recall on like having to fix this fucking one on the rudder.
I think I've seen
some shit that happened on United or something. That's when my wheels start spinning. It's like, okay, I'm flying in 2 weeks. Like, hope they fix this rudder.
So you stress out about flying or traveling?
Not really. I'm usually cool, except for when you hear about shit. Like in Brazil, just had a plane that just.
I know all the doctors on the plane.
Yeah.
Going to Curitiba or somewhere that we're going or something.
We did. Judge went to Southeast Asia. We did a run of like 5 shows in 5 nights, 5 countries, one of those things.
Flying every morning?
We flew on some funky airline somewhere, maybe Thailand to Jakarta or something. But about a few months later, that same flight went down.
Dude.
But I'm usually cool. I feel like Aerodynamics, the Wright brothers.
We've been flying our whole life doing this.
It works.
It's like flying into Chile too. I'm thinking about that movie Alive. And flying over those mountains and stuff.
Or Touristas. Did you see that one?
No.
That was fucked up.
We're getting ourselves psyched out to go on these travel. It's crazy because this is going to be our last South American tour. I told you. There's too much travel, too many flights. The shows are incredible. The people are amazing, but we're just getting burnt on the travel, man.
Yeah.
It's just missions to get to places.
Let's start like you. We both live in California. We both play in bands. What if we start like a serious California tour? Just San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
Carpinteria.
It's only Galita. California.
Yeah.
You
Cambria.
Can't do that, though. And then Europe, too, as well.
Carmel.
Every part of California.
Chico State. Yeah.
You can just do Cali and stay home. It's like, yeah. I once I get there, I love it. Just leaving. I think it's actually once you get in the airport, it's just like, dude, it's got to surrender to it. All the rules and stuff and just go through security.
They make it hard. They should make it easier. I feel like... If I was the czar, I would say no carry-on bags allowed, and then make check-in free and make it really easy. So everyone just check your stuff in, just chill out. You're not going to have your carry-on stuff. Give you better things on the plane to entertain you.
Yeah.
Simplify it a little bit.
That's a great point, actually.
Yeah.
You got freaking fly miles that you upgrade and stuff?
I do. I feel like I did it wrong where...
If you're doing all these bands, you have crazy miles.
I know, but I'm spread out. Like, I'll go for whatever's the best flight. So one, it might be Delta, it might be United American. From what I understand from the pros, like our buddy Vern, I think is like a deep in United.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Certain people that...
upgrading always.
You just do one airline no matter what. Even if it's more expensive, you just double down on it.
Yeah.
You should do a podcast about that. Do you ever do a podcast about a specific theme? Or it's always just like a guest?
I could do a theme one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have my dentist on with all the dentistry shit.
Right.
It was amazing.
Today we're going to talk about dentistry.
Everything, all the questions. It was great. It's coming out soon. It was really helpful. It was a long one, too, but we broke down everything.
Fuck. I was scarred early on, I think, in dentistry, by dentism-isms. This guy in Greenwich Village, man, Dr. Wyman, Dr. Henry Wyman.
Give him a shout out?
Just kind of like hit the nerve too many times where now I'm just like, yikes, I'm not going.
Is he still around?
I don't think so. Hopefully he's not listening.
You have a good dentist out here?
Not really.
Do you go back to your doctors in New York always and get checkups
I'm in a bad place with doctors and dentists right now. Like, I don't really have a team.
Yeah, me either. I just went to one the other day. I was talking about it. I hate going to the doctor, dude. That's why I try to eat good and be healthy and avoid it. But
yeah.
Sometimes you got to do it, get your blood checked or whatever. Colonoscopy we talked about, which you haven't had yet, right?
No, I haven't. I need to.
Dude.
I need to.
You're younger than me, though.
I'm 51. It's time.
Oh, yeah, it's time. Yeah, perfect time.
I don't do I have to go through my primary physician, which I don't have? Do I call I can figure it out. I'm going to do it.
I paid cash for mine because my insurance didn't cover it.
I would pay top dollar.
It was like $1,200, dude. It was worth it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have it done and have a clear conscience of what's going on in your body and stuff, yeah. But you're due for it.
I am due for it. It's time. Speaking of eating healthy, I had a dragon fruit the other day for the first time in my life. You ever have one?
No, I haven't.
They're like the red ones. They're kind of out right now. They're in season.
They're out right now?
Yeah.
They're good?
No. Honestly, they look really cool and they taste kind of
They have a cool name?
It's like a strawberry, but without the shebang. Or like a kiwi without the flavor. But
so it's not good.
They just look cool. It's a good flex. It's definitely an Instagram post. # dragon fruit.
Did you ever have jackfruit?
Jackfruit.
They make fake meat out of it now.
Yeah, I've seen I feel like I've had it in like jackfruit tacos or something.
What's your diet like these days? Are you a pretty healthy eater?
I go to this one farmer's market.
That's cool.
I stock up for the week and I think I eat really well. I do.
Were you veggie for a long time too?
I mean, I was
back in the day,
back in the day, joined Youth of Today, or even when Side by Side I was in Side by Side. We were opening for Youth of Today a lot, and we'd go on these road trips, and those guys were kind of all into it, and I wasn't. And then I remember I was like, I'm gonna stop eating red meat. And a few months later, I was like, I'm gonna only eat fish. And then I kind of slowly weaned off that. A few of us were doing it together. I think like Walter and I maybe were eating fish for a little bit, and we were all kind of transitioning into that, I guess.
In the 80s.
In the 88, 87. Right?
Wow. Okay.
So then I was full veg, and I remember, I don't think I was ever vegan though, but I was full veg, and I remember doing a Warp Tour with Civ, and like probably that one in 95.
Okay.
And it was like they had like, you're vegetarian, like frozen veggie burgers, like this one brand all summer long for like 2 months. It was just
was
enough
it
is
Boca burgers
enough.
or somewhere?
It was just weird.
It was hockey puck burgers.
Yeah,
man.
it was like, and it was, and then at the end of the summer, I went up to visit my dad, and he was making some fish or something. I tried fish, then I became a pescatarian, and I kind of have gone back and forth a little bit on that.
Throughout your whole life?
Yeah.
What about your exercise game?
We're talking about walking. I've been walking more. I've been kind of it's weird. Like with drumming, it's a great sweat. I bust it out. It's awesome. But I could step it up there too. I think in that. I mean, I'm doing a little yoga, some stretching, but I don't have. Living in LA, I guess anywhere these days too, but you walk by a gym like CrossFit, like with those big fucking tires.
I tried it. It's too much for me.
It's like, how do you get that bug? That's amazing. I'm happy for them, but I don't have that bug right now. I need to get it.
You seem like a runner or something, maybe.
I can't. It's not my thing either.
Wow.
I did play basketball a lot for like 7 or 8 years.
That's great.
And, it was a good, fun, mediocre level playing, but really good sweat, like 3 days a week, 2 hours.
That's great cardio.
And I kind of miss that. I need something like that.
I was thinking about you because I was in Venice. I've been going to the gym at Gold's with my son, and I went somewhere that I met him. I started walking through the canals by myself a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's so kind of beautiful and dirty and cool over there.
Yeah, the canals are cool. Anytime where I'm just like, fuck LA, I'm moving back to New York, and then I'll walk around the canals. It's like,
There's like nobody that had a weird
it's like
smell.
hummingbirds and shit. It's beautiful.
It was cool, man.
Yeah.
I never did that before. I was just by myself, like walking to Gratitude or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Venice, dude. I think I could live there someday.
I was at Gratitude yesterday, and I was like, do I get it to go? Do I sit down? I sat down. I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down. And then I was having this real, I guess it's like a Larry David moment maybe, or just a life moment. But this couple was just like having a live Zoom at this table next to me.
That's some very,
you know, and and I'm hitting a point these days where people are doing that. Like even on plane, we're talking about flying, like, you know, just like, I'm going to watch this show with no headphones on.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, man.
And I'm not having it. So that kind of pissed me off. Yeah.
Yeah, Rusty was during the summer tour in Europe. Everybody had AirPods on, and Rusty was like watching Instagram, squinting without his glasses on, so loud. Everybody's like, "Yo, put your headphones on. No one wants to see this." Like, oh, I forgot my headphones. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. It's like at running. There's a sign, no outside audio as well too. Like people used to blast music up there as well.
We just had a shelter run on the East Coast in a minivan, and we were cruising 4 shows. And Purcell did that. He called to activate his credit card or something. And the fucking phone call lasted for like 40 minutes. And he's just screaming like, hello, like it's John Purcelli to do it. I was
on
giving
speakerphone?
him crap for it. Yeah, just on speaker. Just going blasting it.
I think you're the first person to tell me about Drain.
The band Drain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I become really close with.
Yeah,
we had him on tour in Europe. We played some shows with them. But before I really heard him, I think you were talking about them, Revelation. The first record, yeah. Were you part of signing them?
No, Adam Lentz at Rev signed them, but that was like right when I kind of started like officially sort of working there. So I was like, cool, this band Drain, let me check it out. And I listened, I was like, it's sort of like metal. I don't really get it. And then once I met the guys and you see just like the really the sense of humor in it all, like how they have that, you know, how Gorilla Biscuits has like a funny element.
Yeah, it's like surfer kind of vibe. Yeah.
Have a funny element. Like, and that made it so much cooler. I was like, got it. This heavy music, but it's like juxtaposed with like boogie boards and, you know, sharks. And
just seeing Sam like as just a normal looking dude wearing Lululemon shorts.
Yeah.
Just a normal guy.
Yes.
And going off. Great front man. Like the songs are so catchy.
They played some house up in Santa Cruz. And there was a video at that time. It was like one of their early shows. And it was just so cool. It was just like one of those moments where it's like, fuck.
Is that where they filmed the video for California Curse? Because it was a house show maybe.
Yeah, that was a house show. I think that was in LA, but this was a different house show. This was like, it felt like in someone's living room, and it was just cool. I was like, this feels, it just feels like really something exciting's happening.
And it's different. It's got like a kind of like Anthrax kind of moshy vibe to it, energy.
Yeah.
His vocals are hardcore and the bounce to it, and just like, but their live performances are just so fun and so like inclusive. Yeah. All kinds of kids there, all different ages, people with like all the pool kind of blow up toys jumping in the crowd with freaking. It's wow, the sharks and everything. I think it's
cool. The like, what is it?
It's their own thing, dude.
You know, work hard and you get the rewards. Like you see that with them and a few bands that have just been like grinding and just touring. And I think Sam was telling me that, you know, they're playing like these like B and C markets, like just playing little like the in between places. But that pays off because, as you know, you get. I mean, that's how, you know, when youth today in '88 we toured around the U.S. In '89 went to Europe for like 2.5 months playing squats. But you play shows for 10 people, 20 people. But you know. They're good, like half, if 5 or 10 of them are converted, like if they're just fully, if they get it, this connection, then that will reverberate.
Yeah, some cool thing happened a couple months ago where they were playing in Mexico, and so was Blink, and I hit up Trav. I was like, yo, you should check out this band Drain, because me and him are always talking about bands and hardcore bands and stuff. We're sending each other music, and he's like, bet I'm gonna check them out. And he pulled up to their show the next day. Love them because he's seen footage online about them, and then they ended up being on a couple Blink shows. It was a really organic kind of thing, cool thing that happened, dude. They were so psyched. And I feel like also Drain and Scowl and all these awesome bands, they kind of fall under this Turnstile umbrella of like this new kind of generation of hardcore bands. They're all friends, they're all connected, they're all wearing each other's t-shirts like we did back in the day.
Yeah.
And I feel like Turnstile has had these bands on their shows or talked about them, or not that they're the ones that made them popular, but it's this whole kind of cool community.
Yeah.
With Zulu too as well, Tsunami.
It's way more diverse than it was, you know, back when we were coming up.
Yeah, and it's like bands like 7 Seconds who you play with have a song called Walk Together, Rock Together, and during those songs, skinheads were fighting. People weren't really listening to the lyrics. And I feel like all the stuff that we sang about and believed in 30, 40 years ago about unity and community and diversity is actually really happening now. And it's so beautiful to see it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many different walks of life playing hardcore, so many different styles. It's not one sound. Like, me and you have our own probably sound of what we think hardcore is, but it's beyond a sound. We know that. It's a spirit,
When you think about, like, I guess, I think when like hardcore at its peak for me back then, I just think a lot about The Way It Is compilation or the Together 7-inch, and I think about like that 87, 88, when there was the Anthrax and the Pyramid and CBs, but that comp specifically with like Nausea and Trip 6, you know, but obviously Warzone and, you know, and then playing just how, that melting pot of it all. That was when it was at its coolest from my experience.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's going on now for these kids, which is cool.
Because it got crazy and dark and violent and tough guy and metal and scary and all kinds of shit at one point. You know what I mean? And I get why people are like, yo, fuck this. I'm going to do something else or step away from the scene. It got really crazy in New York, man. Yeah. People have guns. It was wild, man. Do you know what I mean?
I do, for sure. I met a guy the other night at just some random dinner party, and he was just like, oh, I used to work at CBGB's. And in like 92, he was... Well, 92 is what he said. And I was like, 92 is when I kind of checked out. And I was playing in this reggae band and I was doing some other shit. And like, so it was funny just remembering.
Yeah. It's not like people like turn their back on something they love so much or what got them into this community. It's just because it just became something that, I don't know, wasn't the hardcore that we loved and songs we sang against violence and bullying and all this shit. And then it started happening, you know? Yeah. Because 7 Seconds seen it all, man. They've been around for 40 years, man. Yeah. And just people not really listening to the lyrics. But now it's just, dude, it's just a really cool time to see all these bands. Even if I never play a show again, even if like this is my last time, my last year in this band or whatever happens, like even just looking at it now and all the stuff that I've seen or gone through traveling and touring and seeing hardcore bands, I'm just proud of where it is. I feel like it's way bigger since the pandemic. Even like Speed came out of the pandemic. They hadn't played any shows, dude. Yeah. I mean, they're fucking massive, bro. Yeah. For every, action, there's a reaction. Like the pandemic, I started managing bands during the pandemic. With Ricky Singh from Flat Spot and I were managing this band Soulblind. And I was managing this band Narrowhead and this girl Rachel Bobbitt and like. Shout out to Ricky, dude. Flat Spot, dude. Yeah, he's been hustling, doing some great stuff, dude. Have you had him on the podcast? He doesn't want to do it. He came and hung out several times with different bands. He's not really into talking, but he's killing it, man. Came from Backtrack. Talos managing Knock Loose and Turnstile. Yes, crazy, dude. Ricky's really smart and no, it's really cool. But like that, just during the pandemic, it was a fun time to sort of plot and build. And, people had time, I guess, to work on things. Were you doing a Revelation then, too? During the pandemic, yes, I was, actually. So I was at Rev, and because I was like, I moved out here, and I had this, advertising job, and my daughter was young, and it was like a job, and it was cool. And then I went to this other job after that at this other ad agency, but once that ended, I was, kind of burnt on the corporate thing and went to, talking with Jordan at Revelation, sort of went over there. You're not a corporate guy. I had a good run. I was there for 7 years. I will say that I liked, I guess the structure and working with a team. I also like doing something different. You know what I mean? Also probably having security and medical benefits. That shit was exciting. It was nice. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have that in hardcore bands. Yeah, for years of hustling of fuck, how am I gonna And you got a family, yeah. Yeah, so it was really you're right. That was really nice. And one of my one old friend of mine from New York brought me. He was my boss kind of, so he was the one that hired me. So that made it kind of nice. But yeah, then, to go back to being a little more independent, working for Rev. And then my friends started Trust Records. And so working with Trust, doing kind of similar marketing, a little bit of everything, for both. I definitely saw the merch change up at Revelation, different colorways, just different stuff like that. Yeah. More for a younger generation. And just all I think a label like Rev, it's to Jordan's credit, he's kept the lights on since 1987. The royalties go out, records get made, things stay in print. He does a really good job. But it's hard to, when you're in it for that close to it, I think, with that, a lot of the people that work there have been there for a long time. Yeah. It's hard to have that fresh perspective. And to be honest, they're there working. They don't really go out and tour the way I do and, talk to kids in Europe. You're still out there. Yeah. So I'm able to kind of bring that perspective. And so that was one of the things was I remember talking to a friend of mine in Sweden, in Stockholm, and he was just he's I don't know, the Revelation website, I'll go to it.
And then this like warning will come up on my computer, like don't trust this website, and like they don't take PayPal, and like blah blah blah.
Oh.
So that's one of my first things when I got there. I was like, Jordan, we need to get a new website, and he
That's amazing.
I think he built that website initially. It had his own server.
It was credit card only.
It's something. It just was
Wow.
like, if you remember, it was very it's very old school. So Shopify is out, and so a friend of mine helped design a website, and we kind of relaunched that, and then like just how do you better blanks, better designs.
Because they were like beefy tees, or I forget what they were on, but I think shirts on Revelation is still to this day under $15.
Part of it was raising the prices a little bit. I was like,
yeah,
look,
they're
we
like
don't.
$12 or something.
Well, I was like, we don't have to be the least. There's no like least expensive award. Like everyone, band's got to make some money. Rev's got to make money. Everyone, it costs money to make it, and this and that.
So true.
It was more. I think they used to just do whatever was, whatever blank was on sale or whatever was around. And so my thing was like, let's just try, and you're never gonna get it right. Like one person likes comfort colors, one person doesn't. One person likes Bella Canvas, one person doesn't.
Gildan, yeah.
It's hard to please everyone, but
it is.
I'd even thought about making a design like a popular one, maybe like a whatever Gorilla Biscuits, a Youth Today Fist or something. It's like you can pick between these 4 blanks. Have at it.
Yeah, man, that'd be kind of cool for a pre-order or something.
Yeah. But no, it's fun. But then, again, like then I'm playing a show with one of my bands and they need merch, and then Trust needs merch. And then, so it's like before you know it, I'm like, deep in this merch thing, which is fun. And then it gets tricky. It's like you want to always be creative. But
was Revelation printing their own stuff too?
They print in house. There's a guy there who's actually really talented, and they print in house. They'll go out of house sometimes.
Because there's merch now out here too.
I use merch now a lot.
Me too.
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, as you know, you build this sort of network. There's designers out there that, you learn. Some are really talented and fast and good and can really elevate it. Like I like that. I like being a creative, but I also like work, not managing creatives, but working with creatives. Like how do I think I'm good at that. Like, hey, how can I know you're fucking creative. Let me help.
Yeah.
Let me help you do your thing.
Yeah.
So
I think that this maybe was an inspiration to the new colorways for Judge and Civ. Don't quote me on it, or the GB. Is when the Hundreds did those collabs for Judge and for all those bands. There was like purple ones and yellow ones and colors that you've never seen a Judge shirt on.
Yep.
And they sold so quick.
Yeah.
It's just like, because everybody just has black tees their whole life. But I thought that was cool to start seeing more colors on the Revelation site too. I knew that was you behind it.
I think. There's a lot of young kids getting into it, which is great, but there's also some older kids that maybe want more quality stuff. Like we just dropped these reverse weave sweatshirts.
Oh, that's
Champion
awesome.
Reverse weave. So they're way more expensive than the typical sweatshirts we make. But there was a bit of a debate at Rev about it, but it was a pre-order, so it was kind of risk-free. It was just like, let's see if people want this.
The best.
And I think the people that got it, I just picked up a Warzone one and a GB one. They're fucking awesome.
You got Warzone ones?
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta check it out.
Sick.
Yeah, I just did a pre-order recently, and I'm still waiting for the jerseys from China through King's Merch. So my wife had to do like a mass email 2 days ago, like, sorry, you've been waiting since July, but they got stuck in customs or whatever. Yeah. That's the one thing that sucks about pre-orders sometimes.
So tell me, what is your merch out, or what is your One Life, One Chance? Like, what is that now? Like, or is it a company, or is it like just a merch?
This is H2O merch that we do out of the house.
Gotcha.
But I used to have my One Life, One Chance stuff. I had my nonprofit. I would do stuff with that. I had my own line for a while, my SEOG line in the early 2000s, went to Hot Topic, and I was doing all that myself, maybe through Ecovision back then. But yeah, I love doing pre-orders. We do them like every couple months.
Do you still speak at...
No, it's been since the pandemic. It's been a minute, man. I'd love to do it again, man.
Yeah.
I would love to do that maybe next year. But everything was so like at home or Zoom and all that stuff for so long, I kind of fell off it. But yeah, I love doing that, man.
And where do you, so you're 300 and something podcasts in, are you having fun with it still? Or
this is sick. I'm just in my kitchen having conversations.
Uh-huh.
It's awesome. It's crazy. It changed my life, man.
Yeah.
And besides financially, just mentally, relationship-wise, meeting people, connecting with people. Yeah,
you're way better at it now. Not that you were bad then, but on the one that we did back in the day was, it was but you're good. I've listened to a few of them. They're really good.
Thank you, man. I'm in my kitchen, my comfort zone,
What, I was going to ask you, like, what the most, like, maybe, I'm not famous, but most, like, bugged out, like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm talking to this person. Like, you did will.i.am. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't really trip out on it because these people are my friends. I don't trip on it really yet. I'm working on some now that I might trip on because most of the people I have on my podcast, I know personally, or I've met before, I know through a friend. I really haven't any strangers on the podcast, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, Will, I know from the vegan world.
You ever get any politicians?
No politicians, no. But I get pitched every week for even people I know. I text them, hey, I just got pitched by your publicist. And they're like, oh my God, I know that. Like Jim from Pennywise a couple weeks ago came on as publicist. I'm being pitched Piebald right now. I got pitched this rapper named Larry. I forgot his name. Alchemist, this dude. Every week I get emails, people pitching stuff. It's cool. It's awesome. I've had people on more than once, 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I love it, man. It's just conversations. And that's why I feel like not filming it makes it better too. Yeah. Just get like cool conversations.
I'm having a good time.
Thank you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So Revelation, so that you in the mix for that. You're still in the mix for that.
Yes.
Revamping it, the merch. I thought that was really smart them having you there because you have so much roots to there.
Yeah.
There's some records on that label, I'm sure. We all know.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you first started making records? Was it side by side? And was it for one of those compilations?
The first thing I ever recorded was Side by Side, and it was the Together 7-inch. It was Violence to Fade at Don Furious.
1986.
Yeah. And I think probably before that was like demos, like the Side by Side demo. We did probably Don Furious too, or like Giant Studios, maybe like those kind of things, or soundboards, but that doesn't really count as a recording.
I think I Have Faith was the second one or something.
I joined Youth Today, and that was a weird ask. They were like, hey, come down to Don Furious and just record a drum beat, which they ended up adding on to Can't Close My Eyes. So the song I Have Faith. So they added like it was like for like a repackage of that record. So they added that intro, So then I was like, cool, I'm just gonna play a beat. And to be honest, like there's not a lot of things that make me cringe when I listen to it that I played on.
Really?
But that's one thing where I fucking cringe because I was just like so young and I was kind of like showing off for a little bit or trying to like do fills like and it should have just been a beat. Like when I play it live now, I'll just play just a beat.
Yeah.
Can't get me down.
But back then you were trying to like kind of prove
yourself.
If
you listen to it, it's just like, just like trying to fill and be too much. And it kind of falls off tempo a little bit. It makes me cringe, but it was, I was a huge Youth Today fan. So I was nervous, just like, oh my God, I'm in Youth Today. I'm recording a freaking beat. Wow. That's nuts.
Had you seen them play a bunch of times before you?
Yeah. Cause Side by Side was opening for them, I guess. It's probably when I would see them. And I was just a huge fan. I had, Break Down the Walls and Can't Close My Eyes. Like I was like 11 and 12 crazy, and we'd just like, we'd go to like, a friend's house, Matt Pecos' house or something, and just like put it on and like sing along and put our fists in the air and just. Did
you go to school with those guys too? That's why
I did. I went to school with Matt Pecos, who plays bass and Judge. Yep. I met him at orientation in like sixth grade, and he was in 7th.
Was that 15th Street School?
This was Friends Seminary.
Okay.
Yeah, on 16th Street. And I went up to him and I said, hey, man, are you punk rock? And he goes, yeah, I'm punk rock.
How did you know? He was wearing a shirt?
He was just kind of punk. He had spiked hair. Yeah, I could tell. He was, and then he was just the most punk. Like he had a mohawk and fucking safety pins in his ears and was just nonstop.
I love how punk he was, where he grew up at too, and how he grew up.
He grew up,
awesome.
he was his
Siv talks about going to his house on 5th Avenue and like going into his bedroom. It's like totally like
his dad was really smart, made a lot of money. He was like venture capitalist type dude. And but yes, I guess he had an older brother who was a little more straight laced, and I think Matt just kind of rebelled at that against everything. And punk was there, and he just kind of doubled down on that.
Were there a lot of kids at your school at that time into the same thing? Or was just only a couple?
Well, there was it was just Matt, and then this kid Zach Glass, who was actually Philip Glass's son.
Okay,
he was pretty fucking punk, and then my friend Chris Burr. And but there weren't a lot of us, and then we all got kicked out of school.
Really?
Yeah, little like in different ways. They asked us not to come back or got us kicked out.
Asked you not to come back.
Yeah, and then I went to McBurney with Richie Birkenhead. Went there.
Wow, dude.
And so but
and then the Village Community School too.
Then PCS, Professional Children's School.
Damn, so many schools, man.
Yep, Jerry O'Connell was there. Stand by Me.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you a good student?
No, I was just so into like, I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. Like I was just like, at least with high school PCS, which was 10th, 11th, and 12th grade for me there. I was just like, all right, this is cool. Like I can't wait to go out and play shows with my bands. Yeah. Cause I was deep in it at that point, so.
That's all you wanted to do.
And I didn't really, I was not a good student. No, I mean, I was like, just not like my head wasn't
really bad grades and stuff, or
not great, just kind of getting by, like just let me get by. I mean, occasionally I would have I remember having a really good like history teacher at McBurney where I was like, fuck, this is cool, you know, or, but yeah, for the most part, not really.
But you graduated.
But yeah, kind of a class clown, just fucking around, having fun.
Were your parents strict about you going to college, or just like playing?
No, not about college. I mean, they were, they didn't want me to fuck up like but I was a good kid.
And you weren't partying.
I was straight edge.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was playing music, I was making records, and I was like doing a lot of
being creative.
Yes, being creative. So they were definitely in my life and involved and good parents, which was really cool. But yeah, the school part of it, like the learning, it was funny. I went to like private schools for the most part, and then I had to go to summer school, and I went to Washington Irving for summer schools.
I know what that is, yeah.
And I had Spanish and math, and the math class was like basic math, like fractions, percentages, just like basic shit that you need in real life. And I loved it. It totally clicked. I remember going home and talking to my mom. I was like, man, I love it. This is the best class I've ever had in my life. And she was looking at me. She was just like, I've just dropped so much fucking money on private schools. And you're telling me that this experience, is...
Is that, where is that school?
It was on Irving Place, right by the Irving Plaza.
Yeah, I spoke at that school.
Yeah.
That was a gnarly school. It was a metal detector.
It was a wild school.
Wow, dude.
It's funny. I went to...
I think it's called Gramercy now. Oh, wait. Whatever. I spoke at a school right by Irving Plaza. Yeah.
The first day of that math class, there was this kid who was like way older in my summer school math class, and he had gold fronts, and he stood up, and he told the teacher to fuck off, and he walked out.
Damn.
I was like, holy shit. A few months later, I was dating this girl who lived up in those like projects in Chelsea on 26th Street and 8th Avenue. And I was going to pick her up for like, I think her prom or something. And I had a suit on.
Damn.
And I'm like rolling up in there, and I knock on the door, and her dad answers the door. He was a homicide detective. And her mom, was there. And I go in the living room, and this dude is there with his shirt off, DJing on 2 turntables. And it's the dude from summer school that told the teacher to fuck off.
In the apartment?
Yeah. Homicide. DJ Homicide.
Wow, man.
Yes.
Holy shit.
It was bugged out.
That's so random.
But that public school, Washington Irving, years later, I lived by Patti Smith, and she asked me to play drums for a show that her drummer couldn't make because I knew her boyfriend who went to that school, PCS. And I ended up playing a benefit at Washington Irving, playing drums for Patti Smith.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was a little bit older. I was living on McDougal Street, and she lived right down the block, and I was 20 something.
That's incredible, Patti Smith, though, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I know there was the Siegler Brothers moving company, right?
Yeah.
Did you work for that at all?
Yes. Yeah, totally. That was like summer jobs moving.
There's a fireplace one too?
Yeah, there was.
2 different companies?
So way back, Siegler Brothers Moving and Storage since 1875. My great-grandfather bought this building on West 11th Street, but on Greenwich Avenue, they had a fireplace store.
Yeah.
Which I remember when I was really little going by there, but then that eventually closed. And I think it became a Japanese restaurant.
What is a fireplace store sell?
It was like fireplace equipment, and so like those little like brooms, I guess, and like things.
The metal rods.
Yeah, and maybe like the facades that go around it, like and all that shit.
Interesting, yeah.
But I remember like you would see like fake fires in them, and as a little kid, like just going in there, like staring at them, that was kind of bugged out. But the warehouse was a trip because when my parents got divorced, my dad took a floor in the warehouse.
You guys would practice there,
and he put a wall up, and he basically like it was like his like bachelor pad, and he lived in it, and it was cool. It was like high ceilings, brick walls, all that shit, but there was like no heat. It was fucking freezing.
Damn.
So my sister and I would stay there Wednesday nights, and it was always like, oh my God, this is weird. But yes, my dad played drums, so he had his kit, so I was able to rehearse there. So Youth of Today rehearsed there. We wrote a lot of Word on Salone there.
Yeah.
Judge wrote a lot of Bringing It Down there.
And then the photo of the back of Disengaged 7-inch, correct?
Yep, that's on the steps.
That's cool, man.
And then many of summer jobs, I was working on the truck, moving.
Really?
I was funny. I was just telling my daughter this story too. I remember because those guys that I worked with, these older mover dudes, they were paid by the hour. Okay. So they were moving fucking slow. They were like, let me move this box. Like, real slow. And I was in there just like getting paid by the day, I think.
How old are you then?
So I was like, 17, 18. I was just like, fuck it, let's go move this. Let's go. Just like ripping around.
Young, you're hyped.
They're just like, slow down, Sam, slow down. I'm like, what?
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down.
So that was like your job?
That was one of my jobs.
Were you working at a young age?
I was. I worked a lot. I mean, you and I both worked at Nana.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? I worked at Lucky Strike for a minute. I was a runner. I worked at a place called Match, which was
I remember Match,
same owners of Lucky Strike.
Did we work at Nana together different years?
We at different years.
Because I started. I don't know what we're doing.
When Match opened up, it was in Soho. It was like super trendy.
Yeah,
and, And I think maybe the McNally's owned it or somebody, but they had Diesel, which was like the hot shit design brand at the time.
Oh yeah.
Diesel like designed the outfits. So I had 2 of these like Diesel full bodysuit outfits, like a mechanic kind of outfit. I think was the vibe.
Oh yeah.
And I was a runner and worked my fucking ass off. I was living on Mulberry and Houston. And my friends would be hanging out there. I lived with Max and a bunch of and all my friends would be hanging out, having fun while I was at work. I'd come home at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, exhausted from just like being a runner. And they did this a few times. They would take all my laundry and put it in the Diesel suit, the mechanic suit, and set it up in my room to scare the shit out of me when I'd walk home.
No way.
It's called Matchman.
They would stuff it and scare you?
Yeah, just fucking pranks. So, yeah, that's
You lived all over Manhattan, huh?
Downtown.
Only Manhattan, no other boroughs, nothing?
Downtown, strictly downtown Manhattan. Grew up on 15th Street.
Yeah.
First apartment was Mulberry and Houston. Lived on Bleecker and McDougal.
Bleecker Bob's, wow.
4th and B, and then 13th between A and B.
4th and B?
Yeah, right above Kate's. I moved in with my wife.
It was kind of gnarly back then, wasn't it? Around?
Yeah, it was a little bit gnarly. I mean, not as bad.
I feel like D is probably still those D projects are still kind of gnarly now.
Yeah, C and D.
But it was scary back then, yeah.
I mean, as a kid, like I grew up on 15th between 5th and 6th, which even that was kind of sketchy. Like Union Square was sort of sketchy.
Yeah.
As a kid, like I would never really go to Avenue A, forget about B, C, or D. And then in like that 87 hardcore, like going to Tompkins was a big deal. Like, holy shit, I'm fucking
in the mix, dude.
87, I was 14.
Dude.
So it's just like, fuck.
Scary. It's probably scary. Yeah. Because C, you're crazy. D, you're dead.
That's right.
I wonder what it means. It's got to be something totally different now.
Right.
It's like something totally safe. It's so weird going down there, walking down. I just feel like I'm not from there. I lived there for a long time. I feel like so old. Like it's not.
C is cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
T is
daddy's money.
Daddy's money.
A is adventurous. Yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah.
But just walking through the
B
state
is Bitcoin.
Now, with my son, he loves it there. It's just like this young energy. Probably how it felt when we were young, walking the streets of downtown and stuff. But I just feel like, do you love going there still? You still have a place there, obviously. But
I do. Yeah. I mean, I miss it. I think, I think about moving back a lot. Grass is greener type shit.
You're always talking about that.
I know. I've been having fun in LA. They're both good. They're just different. But I think I'm ready. It's been like 12 years. But my daughter's in high school, so I think we're just gonna.
And she loves Cali.
Ride it out. She does. Yeah.
She loves New York too.
Yeah, but less and less. She turned for a minute. She was definitely feeding off our energy. She's like, yeah, New York, and then now she's just like, I think she told my wife and I, she's like, I'm from California. I'm a California kid.
Same with my son too, but he loves New York, and I feel like he's like, we were just there. He's like, I think I could live here for like a summer or something. I'm like, yeah, check it out. That's what I did. I never came back, but yeah, total Cali kids. It's so weird having Cali kids, dude. Being East Coasters, man.
Well, your son is. I remember my wife and daughter and I talk about it a lot, but like there was one night where he was, I think, just getting into surfing, and he just had some new friends in Venice, and he was hanging out in Venice, but he didn't really know where he was, and his phone died or something. And you guys called me up. You were like, yo, my son's in Venice. His phone's dead. Like, he's going to come by your house. I was like, cool. And I was driving. I didn't get a chance to give my wife a heads up. So my wife tells a story where she's like, yeah, like my wife and daughter at home, and all of a sudden, like, bang, bang, bang on the door. And in comes Max, just like, what's up? Oh my God. Oh yeah. Like, oh yeah, I know Sammy. And they were like, okay, who's this guy? Like, they didn't know who the fuck it was. Like, was this some intruder? Like, what's happening?
Crackhead kid, yeah.
They figured it out.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Because I was like, who do I know in Venice out there? But like, he loves Venice. He's there all the time. Obviously, he works out.
Hit me up if you guys are at Goals. I'm like right down the block.
There's like a new vegan soft surf spot by you now too. We went to the opening of it.
Really?
It's like super healthy thing. It's a pop up over there. What made you go to Venice?
How'd
you end up there?
My cousins grew up on the west side there in Santa Monica and Venice, and
so you got family out here.
So there was that, but more so just like my wife's Australian. It was like, if we're gonna do California, let's do the palm trees and the beach and the whole shit. Absolutely. And actually, that job that brought me out, that ad agency thing, was also on the west side. So that made sense. Yeah. We found like some little like funky beach bungalow thing, which was cool. Like,
that's cool.
Super funky. Yeah, I remember like thinking, I was like, fuck, okay, like you could probably run through my front door and be in my living room, like break it down. Like it was so flimsy. It was like one of these old like Venice beach houses. And I was like, this is why people own guns. Like I'm not into guns. And growing up in New York, it's like, I didn't really feel like you ever needed it. But in California, like cops are not going to come for like maybe half an hour or something.
And Venice got wild for a couple of years.
Yeah. And like, occasionally some of these like, people would come right to the door just like,
Really?
You know, hey, we're raising money for some bullshit thing. I'm just like, back up.
During the pandemic, it got really zombied out there.
Yes.
It was really sad, man. It was
Yeah.
crazy. They cleaned it up though, kind of now, right?
Yeah. Except when, yes, they have for the most part.
Yeah.
But no, we had a guy living in a pickup truck on our block for a while. It was wild. I mean, it's a good, raising a kid. There's pros and cons. I think my daughter's learned some cool lessons just being around that and seeing. Yeah.
Did you ever want more than one kid?
I did. I think I was just like, whatever life brings,
totally.
I'm up for it. Like,
same with us.
Yeah. If we have 3 kids, go for it. 5 kids, whatever.
Yeah.
Like 1 kid is super cool too. I like, 1 kid, you can travel and, we can roll. We go out to restaurants with her and we could just bug out.
On tour, everything, dude.
Yeah.
It's so easy to travel.
Yeah.
What about all the bands that you're in now about making new music? Is that ever talked about? Because you're in these bands that are like so nostalgic and so relevant still, and big inspirations to so many of the young bands and been around for a long time. Making music is tricky, do you think? Or is it hard?
I think it's doable, and we talk about it with some of the bands. It comes down to a little bit of the hard work you got to do. You got to roll up your sleeves. You got to show up and put in time. And for some reason,
I could see you be the one trying to make that happen, though.
Yeah, like we talk with, say with 7 Seconds. It's like, all right, well, Kevin's in Sacramento, so I'm gonna go to Sacramento, like drive or fly up there and like chill there for 3 days. I got to find a spot. Like Steve's got to come from Reno. Like it's just
a lot. It's a lot, dude.
Yeah, so it's just more of coordinating people and time and not having that luxury, I guess, the way we used to when we were kids. But that said, I think it's doable.
And being inspired though too, trying to be inspired at this age and topics to sing about,
Yeah, it's got to be
so different,
right? I mean, I've written some lyrics, but I wrote the song "Look Back" by Side by Side.
Oh wow!
But which is dope about that is that I wrote that when I was 12 years old, and it's about reflecting on your life.
Reflecting on your life at 12 years on the
planet.
Look back.
Yeah.
I didn't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then you think about bands like you don't fix what ain't broke because people love coming hearing the songs from those records.
There's certain bands like I feel like H2O. You guys could keep adding. Like you seem to keep growing, and it's like to add records. Like you seem to do that. You wait a few years, put a record out.
Yeah.
I think a band like Judge, for example, like I don't know if the world needs a new Judge record. Like we did that one record, and that's kind of our thing.
Same with GB.
Yeah, same with GB too.
They're killing it, and they said one album, like a 7-inch, or they did it at one 7-inch that came out too.
Yeah,
that
but
was cool.
I think that exactly those are bands. But like I think a band like Shelter, we could add to the I think Shelter could make a record.
I think so too.
I think I'd love to make some 7 Seconds music.
That could happen, but not Youth Today or Judge. I don't think, or Side by Side.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, those are just like
Rival Schools. We have a bunch of new music,
yeah.
and we've got like old demos. We've got some new stuff we worked on. We did a tour with Thursday for like a month, where pretty much every sound check we would just jam, and next thing you know, we had like 2 parts, and so like that was promising. But the hard part is making it I think a song, like writing lyrics and like really doing that.
And then putting it out because you want to put out new music, not because you think people are asking for it or want it.
Yeah.
You maybe just you're bored playing the same old songs from the same old records. You want to play something new. But still, even that, it's just kind of hard putting out new songs, I feel like, when you're this...
I would say, yes.
I don't know.
I think I find myself a lot in life and work or whatever in life. Just do one. Like, do one song and just do it for yourself. Like, and just, you don't have to put it out, and then do 2. And then do 3. It's almost like your podcast, like just you put one foot in front of the other. Before you know, you did 10, you did 20, you did 300.
Yeah.
With like a lot of the Trust Records stuff or Rev stuff, like we have this series called 1, 2, Me, You, and it's like we did 1. Oh, that's cool. It was a conversation between Keith Morris and Kat from Scout.
That was great.
We did another one, Shepard Fairey and Kevin Seconds.
And then Pat from Have Heart and
Al from SSD.
Yeah, that was great.
So it's like when you do, and I think maybe music is a similar thing. Like do a song to 2 to 3. I tell people a lot, like younger bands, like if they ask for advice, like write 5 songs. 2 of them are going to be better than the other 3.
True.
One of them is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Now that's your bar. Write another 5.
Yeah.
And just like the cream will rise to the top.
I love that. I want to do that too with Max on drums, at least to a 7-inch or something. It's been like 9 years.
Yeah.
Just trying to get re-inspired by it. It's just we're in different places. We're parents. We're older. We have mortgages. It's just a different mindset of writing songs about the scene, because our scene is like our homes, our family. You know what I mean? It's different. Like it's not like we go to shows and stuff. We're not really involved. I mean, you're involved with Trust Records. Like you're putting music out, but I guess I'm involved with the podcast.
I think
having people
Capone
on
really
there.
nailed it with "We're Not Alone." I mean, I was like 15 at the time or something.
It's my favorite YOT record.
But those
by the way.
lyrics, like, are these themes that, are kind of beyond, the hardcore scene necessarily. Like, so potential friends or put it aside or choose to be or something. It's like, those are just, I could see yourself even, writing about these themes that,
that's true.
Make sense for kids and hardcore, but also for adults and for anything.
Yeah. And then what about like bands that like, obviously you were straight edge when you youther today.
Yeah.
And then now you're still in youther today, you're not.
Yeah.
And there's bands like Chain of Strength as well. But you still love hardcore. You still believe in these lyrics. You're still playing these bands. I think it's crazy for people to expect people to be exactly the same way they were a song they were 40 years ago.
For sure. There's that.
And it's a hard thing to live up to. And I know Capel's dealt with it throughout his life and stuff. And a lot of people too, because people get put on these pedestals like they're perfect humans. None of us are perfect. But just like having that, I know people felt the same way about Chain of Strength coming back. One guy was Edge. But so what? Those songs inspired kids to become straight edge back then, and they had such a positive. Like you were in a band that I have a tattoo of, a couple tattoos of actually, that inspired my life to be straight edge the rest of my life, and I appreciate you and that record and those times for that. So it's like there's so much positive to it, but yeah, people, because I'm probably you went through it too. You know what I mean? Probably.
Yeah.
Expectations, no pun intended.
I mean, for me, it helps with these bands that the singers are straight edge for sure. I mean, I think if we were all straight edge, that'd be great. But it's important. It's really, that's a
one's
big
hanging
part
strong. You know what I mean?
Like, we have a few in Judge.
It's always good as a singer because they write the lyrics. Yeah,
and I think there's not being. Yeah, I'm not trying to like reinvent the rules, but the non-straight edge, when you're like a teenager, the stuff that we were kind of rebelling against was that really over the top kind of partying, dipshit mentality.
Yeah.
I'd like to think at 51 that I approach, having a glass of wine in a different way or, something like it's, I have a different head on my shoulder. So I think it's a little bit about like how you're carrying yourself, as a person. I mean, I think a lot of those like straight edge ethos are, not to bend the rules again, but are still with me in like a big,
I can see that
way.
Too. Yeah. It had a big impact on your life, dude.
Yeah.
And especially when you were that young too, that's prime age to go through all the crazy peer pressure and all kinds of stuff in high school and all that stuff. You're hanging out a bunch of positive straight edge dudes playing music.
Yeah.
At like 14, it's crazy.
Yeah, bro. We're like on a, again, we just had this like shelter run, and it's the kind of conversations we're having, it's like a real, it's still very elevated and evolved.
Yeah.
And stupid and funny at times. But but we're into some, those guys are all really inspiring. Ray, Purcell, Walter, we all we feed off each other, and it's no one's phoning it in. When we play. And I think that's when it would probably stop, is when it starts to feel a little bit like But like the last Youth Today show we played was at Tie Down Fest in Detroit. It was fucking sick.
That's awesome.
Like I think as long as it's connecting with each other and
you're still having fun.
Audience, having a lot of fun.
And people are so psyched to see you guys still, and there's new people seeing you for the first time.
Yeah.
There's kids just getting into it. There's people becoming straight edge now because of those lyrics. And I've seen some stuff Ian talking about, like writing that song that many years ago and how what it became after that, the violence and the judgment and all the different things, how it turned kind of negative, Yeah. And how he just wrote a personal song about a personal thing he did with his friends,
Yeah. Yeah.
People took it to another level. And that's on the listener and the people listening. That's not what the person wrote about. You know what I'm saying? That's not really on the singer or the lyricist,
Yeah, I guess.
It's interesting. It's all types of music, though, too.
Right. People interpret things.
Because he talks about people listening to gangster music and people getting killed over that type of music and all that stuff.
I would hear stories, about like someone blowing up a McDonald's or like, carving an X into some kid's back with a razor
I heard that too.
And shit. Which just was like...
Are these urban legends or are these true? Who knows?
It was pre-social media, but I just... All I knew was that my crew and my scene and the shit that was around me was really great. I loved it. So I was like, I was really into that. Like, not that I had blinders on, but it's just like, you can't, you can't check everyone, I guess. And there's always going to be fucking weird people that interpret a song or a thing in some crazy ass way.
But also, the youth crew and you and all your friends kind of set it off in the streetwear kind of look too, like changing it up, not wearing leather jackets, not wearing boots, wearing sneakers, wearing varsity jackets, wearing Champions. You kind of set it off for like that whole fucking, not can't say fashion, but the whole fucking not uniform. I don't know what it was, but like, because I was never a skin. I called myself like a sneakers kind of shaved head and wore like sneakers. But like that whole kind of like youth, no pun intended, and that young fucking, I don't know, because you guys weren't jocks. You weren't like playing football and shit, but you had like this young, clean cut. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's cool when you
it wasn't grimy punk rock, anarchy, fuck your parents, Sex Pistols. It was more like, I don't know, make a difference in the world. I don't know, make it better.
I think the thing, and you were there, like the coolest part was just doing it without any kind of agenda. Like there was no like, yo, we got to do this now because in next year we want to be here, or in 5 years we want to be there, or in 30 years we want to be there. It was seriously just like, these are like, I like these sneakers, I'm going to put them on. We got Air Revolutions, Nike
and I think
rules.
I think that's more punk than wearing what everybody else is wearing a uniform, wearing the boots and the leather jackets and spiking your hair. To me,
yeah, it's
being more because you're more putting yourself out to be judged in the punk scene as like, how's this guy punk rock? He's got like a nice haircut and fucking a champion on and fucking nice sneakers. You know what I'm saying?
You know what was interesting was and like
I think that was ballsy. That's what I'm saying.
It was Ray Capo was really interesting. I thought he was he kind of spearheaded a lot of it. I think because he was also working, New York at the time. Like he was working at like nightclubs to make money. Like he was working at the Tunnel, so he was around like kind of
like Richie did. Pyramid.
Yeah, like exactly. So they were like we were talking about like Audio 2 the other day and like hip hop and early hip hop and so and this club scene and like whatever like voguing and just different dance shit. So I think on that back of that Disengaged 7-inch, he's wearing like these Doc Martens shoes, right?
Yeah.
Which like nobody was really wearing. Or the biker shorts, or he would just kind of push it, and he had that. He just things. I don't know. He was able to wear clothes in a cool way, and it made it work. But
even the Jordan 1s, dude.
Yeah,
set that off in hardcore. I mean, I wore those after seeing the Bones Brigade wear them in skateboarding.
I think he was.
Too.
Didn't he tell the story though about he bought them just because they were like the cheapest shoe that
I think so,
was around? So it's like. Again, it's like what it just was natural. Like this was the shit that we were.
But it's like I know
wearing, and it worked, and it aged well.
It's like iconic, like the break dance, like plastic pants.
Yeah,
like the haircut, just like the beads, all that stuff.
It was tight. It was a tight thing, and I mean,
I think it's still cool too. I think people still rock that shit.
Yeah, like, it aged well. I mean, I think it's going cycles. You know what I mean? Like it definitely. The varsity jacket was recently, feel like that came back, or the fanny pack came back, or that was bugged out when I saw the fanny pack come back because I was like, that was a weird style that, Purcell would rock. I had it.
You guys would. That's right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Damn,
we were early on that shit.
But yeah, way before. Like I don't know, man. It's just crazy with the Champion stuff, especially, dude.
Yes, we'd go to this Champion outlet.
Swatches.
Yeah, Swatches, Champion outlet in Binghamton, New York, and get the Champions and like. But yeah, like the. Purcell specifically had this thing where he would like cut the bottom of his t-shirts
and roll it up,
and it would roll up naturally like once you washed it once, and then like cuffing his pants really tight on and so like those things, those little nuanced,
maybe tucking the shirt in too with a canvas belt.
Canvas belt was the thing.
Hard.
They're
rolling up the sleeves. So I was sick.
Even the t-shirt. I was joking with my daughter the other day about something about like what she was gonna wear, and I was like, yo, you should rock the t-shirt over the hoodie look. Because we used to do that.
I remember that.
She kind of gave me a look, but...
that was a wild look.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a wild thing, like a crisscross kind of
thing. Well, like, it's cold, so I need a sweatshirt, but I want to rep this fucking band, so I'm going to put the t-shirt on the top. Let's go.
It's so true. I remember that shit. Dang, dude. But the cuffing of the pants, I did that too.
Yeah.
Whatever, the Vans. That was like probably like the only kind of vegan shoe back then. They were canvas. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Damn, dude.
I was into the obnoxious, like Nike Air Revolution, just like these over-the-top Nikes, big Nikes.
But I forgot the new Nike. There was a Nike that came out that was the first kind of vegan Nike, and everybody wore it.
Mm-hmm.
It was white with black with purple on the bottom. I forgot the name of them. I'm going to have to look it up. Hey, Joe, look it up. My editor, whatever, put it in the podcast. But it was like the first one. Everybody bought them. It's came out twice since the 80s so far.
So were you vegan early on?
I was vegetarian first in 88, yeah.
88.
Yeah, I worked at the practice studio where Youth Tay was rehearsing for We're Not In This Alone album when he came back from India for the first time. I sat there in the front. I did the books for like Youth Today, Gorilla Biscuits, and Bad Trip.
Which studio was that?
Somewhere in Queens.
Okay. Yeah.
So I remember him coming back. I remember Ray doing handstands in there and shit.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Crazy, man. Just think about being there during that time.
And who hipped you to being vegan?
Sid, because I lived in the GB house in 88.
Right.
With Walter and Alan Cage.
Yeah, those early...
it's wild, man.
I know. It was like one of the fun things with, Trust Records specifically, it's a lot of it's about like preservation, putting out records that either, were on a label that they're out of print or they're not streaming or whatever. And so the idea is to keep them in print and then also do, what I do is like more like storytelling around it. Like, And in between that, like even if it's not a record, like what can we just do a focus on, whether it's an interview, whether it's an article, whatever it may be. But one thing I want to do at some point is kind of like a deep dive into like early New York vegetarian, like health food stores, Prana, health
Down
food
to Earth.
store, Ahimsa, down, but yes,
Purcell worked,
down to Earth, and like all in-school yoga, and
you said Prana with Chaka worked.
Yeah, we all worked at these places. I worked at Down to Earth, like, but I think I think early on, like a little bit before my time, like Prana, I think John Watson worked there, and maybe Purcell,
Mark
like,
Supertouch.
Ahimsa, yeah, Mark Ryan, and
That's right,
so I think it's just funny.
Alan Cage too, I think.
Yeah, it'd be cool to do a little mini dive into that.
That's sick. Also, shout out to Chaka because I feel like Burn was like one of the first bands that had purple T-shirts back then.
Yeah.
They had crazy colorways. People were like, yo, this is crazy. And Chaka would always rock his own shit all the time on stage. I always give him props for this, like always promoting his own stuff.
Yeah.
But he had like purple with yellow, crazy colorways that like now are really popular.
Yeah.
But back then they weren't, man.
Yeah,
so that was pretty punk, I think, doing that back then too. The colorways, dude. But yeah, you guys were like the...
Well, I think also, give some credit too to like the Wishing Well folks, like the stuff that Pat Longry, I guess, and Dubar were doing with their T-shirts, which were like, like sort of some adventurous colors, but for the most part,
right.
But the 4 print, like the print on the sleeves,
dude, use your head,
front, back, left sleeve,
the
right
record
sleeve.
label print on the sleeve. Yeah.
I mean, that shit is over the top. I don't think anyone was doing that.
And then Positive Force did it with Token Entry stuff and 7 Second stuff. That's a great point, man. Because then Youth of Today did, I remember, with a shirt, like Break Down the Walls, or maybe on the sleeve or something. Yeah, that was
Positive
crazy.
Force.
Dude.
One of my thoughts was, so one of the, and you probably know this too, with H2O, it's like, yeah, cool, H2O could play, but wouldn't it be, how do you make it better? What H2O and who? Like, what's that package, And I feel like these days, and you kind of need that more than ever, of like people are paying money, they want to see like 2 or 3 or 4 good bands and who fits in a good way. And it's tricky sometimes, like is there there's the money's got to work out for everyone, and you got to be able to swing it. But so I was thinking a lot about Youth of Today and 7 Seconds playing together because of the history there. And Purcell he's like, you got to call something. I was like, well, what if it's like Positive Force Weekend or Positive Force Festival, and you guys should play too.
I'd love to do that.
And other positive bands, and we should make it a posi.
That'd be awesome,
fest.
Man. Yeah, man, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Another thing I was thinking about too.
And Liquid Death should sponsor it.
Okay, we got it. What about like all the bands you're in opening for a newer band? You're cool with all that? Like if Judge has, because we just opened up for Drain and Terror and Angel Dust. Yeah. And we were like 4th in the bill that played them. It was incredible. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like I'm happy to play. I'm happy to be invited to that actual show. It was a whole new crowd for us. It was amazing. So like, I know some people have like, some people, it's not saying you are, but some people are living in a time where they think their band's worth more than they are. But it's a different time now, and there's so many bigger bands. And I feel like for like Judge or one of your bands to open up for somebody like a Drain or I don't know, one of these other bands, it's so good for you.
It is.
And you're getting a new audience too.
Yeah,
Regardless if the money will be smaller,
yeah.
it's opportunity. It's awesome,
Yeah, you want, what it takes to play a show and all the travel and the expenses and all this, that. So when you get there, you want it to be a good show. So, if that means, to your point, taking less and playing with, a younger band or whomever opening or something, then, I think that's fine.
Because I went and saw 7 Seconds when they played a while ago at the midnight hour, which is a great spot. And I think they were on the pod that they were talking like, we're not headlining tonight. No, sorry, it was Verbal Assault. They're like, we're not headlining tonight. There's this band called Gel. I'm like, oh, shit.
Right.
That's great you're not headlining because Gel's amazing and they're killing it. They're a new young band. And I went to the show and Verbal Assault had a great show and then it was a packed show. It was awesome. But Verbal Assault, like I don't even know who we're playing with, but it was cool to just see them do that. Yeah. Because everybody helps each other. It's like, but it's such a young,
interesting
new
about
world,
hardcore though. I feel like, one of the cool things about when I was younger was like the bands that I really loved, like I like other bands from West Coast and from, I'd hear about them and of course like, wow, I'm into, whatever, the Circle Jerks or something. But but the ones that I really loved are the ones that I could touch. I could go there. I could see them. Like, holy shit, I know the guys in Beyond. I can talk to them. Yeah. I love their fucking demo. I know every song. Yeah. I'm up front singing. I love Straight Ahead. I can talk to Tommy Carroll. Like, these are the ones in my scene. Therefore, I thought they were the shit. Yeah. So I think equally these younger bands, like whomever, whatever, Tsunami or something, or any of these younger, like newer bands, like they love the bands that are in their scene. That so I guess what I'm not just like curious about, like sometimes I'm like they might not give a shit about Youth Today or Judge, which is totally understandable because
same.
that's not their shit. Like they might like it, but it's not like and some records sound better than others, right? Like Gorilla Biscuit Star Taste sounds great. I think a young kid could get that record and be like, fuck, I get it.
I feel like that's a staple. Like
Youth Today is tricky. Where Else Alone's a rough record.
I love it's my favorite record though.
But you saw it live though, so I feel like that helped make the full connection. Not to say that
you're saying sound wise.
I'm just saying like, yeah, to be able to fall in love with an older band that you can't really see a lot, I guess.
But I also think that GB is so active and they have so many different young bands playing with them.
Yep.
They've taken a lot of young bands to Europe. They're still in the mix. They're playing This Is Hardcore. Like they have a great show. They have a great set.
Yeah.
Great energy, and like they're out. They're actually out here doing it. They're playing this big thing and for the children.
That's right.
SOS Booking. It's awesome.
Yep.
So they're like really in the mix out there, and but so is Youth Today and so is Judge. But Judge doesn't play as much as those bands.
But I think it was interesting about the bands in your scene.
Yeah.
They could be teeny. Yeah. But you fucking love them because that's your bros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so I think
look out for each other like that.
When I look back of a young me of just like, my favorite bands were, Altercation, Straight Ahead, Beyond. And like, just bands that they were small, but I just fucking.
But then seeing Drain take out Terror on the whole tour, Terror's like, yo, this is the most incredible U.S. tour we've done. It's a whole new audience, dude.
Yeah. Terror's smart. Scott is smart. They
grind. They're one of the hardest working bands I know, man.
But they also like mix it up with young bands in a way that's smart.
But he's got his ear to the street and he's in the mix and he's going to shows.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Scott Vogel. Liquid Death.
Yes. How about this Travis Scott win the Judge shirt, man?
He's a huge fan. He knows every fucking song and he loves it.
Listen, don't get it twisted. My friend works for him and I've been texting. We'll talk about off the podcast.
Yeah, give me the inside scoop.
But homeboy listens to things. Like he wore a Veil shirt 2 weeks before that. So it's not just supposedly a stylist or somebody from the core.
Okay.
Like homeboy's not. He's definitely listened to things.
I thought it was a stylist. Like what? Kim Kardashian was wearing a speed shirt. Right?
That's because Travis.
Right. But
I was at the show with him.
Then we gets around in those circles. You want to wear a hardcore shirt. It's a good look.
Nah, Travis been rocking it before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw something pop up the other day. I don't know who posted it, but it was like his outfit he wore that day. He did that. And it was like the Judge shirt for $250 or something. Yeah. His shoes and stuff.
It's so interesting watching. I mean, obviously I know he's famous, but just watching to like what extent like people trip out and the amount of like, that thing you're talking about is like a Travis Scott outfit Instagram handle. Like people are just, it's interesting. I mean, as you know, like with hardcore, there's been these moments where, like that, what was that movie where the guy's wearing the, about the drummer who goes deaf and he's wearing a Youth Today sweatshirt?
Oh yeah, that's great. That was a great one.
Just every once in a while you see weird shit, or like on Friends, there was a Shelter poster in the background.
Shelter H2O poster.
Yes, yeah. Those are. Like
I think about your kids. I think about everybody's kids in these bands.
Like
because my dad's in this old band, this crazy hardcore band I go see play, and all of a sudden like a rapper that they know is rap. They're like, yo, that's kind of like cool dad points. Yeah, dude.
I know, like Pincus was psyched. Like his kids are teenagers, and his oldest son's into hip hop big time, and like. I was just like, here, check this out.
I know. I love how the worlds collide like that, though.
Yeah.
I guess recently Taylor Swift was seen singing The Darkness, kind of like at this, at a game or some sort of sports game. She's singing with her boyfriend. They're both singing it. And that song went viral, and now that record's at #1 again.
The British band, The Darkness, the metal band.
Yeah, Derek told me about it yesterday.
That's cool.
Because she was seen sing along to it somewhere. That's just that power. That's crazy how kids are just like on it like that.
I think with hardcore, man, those were some special seeds that were planted back then. You know?
For sure.
I mean, we're fucking 35 years later, and like we're playing, and Travis Scott's wearing a shirt, and like shit's happening. You know what I mean?
But it's so cool, though. Who would have thought it would have lasted even that long? Or anything?
Yeah.
You weren't thinking that. You were a kid, dude.
No.
It was something you do in your
But
friends.
it makes sense, though. If it's be authentic, that we were that shit, and today I'm sure still too. But I know for us, like, it was a hot current of electricity that was fucking, every Sunday afternoon. It was full on.
Yeah, it was something you did with your friends. It was a time in your life. You know what I mean? Like, that's how like Ian talks about like Minor Threat.
Time will remember.
Exactly. So same with Ian when he talks about the time frame of his Minor Threat, all that stuff is something his friends did, songs he wrote about. It was just this time that like they weren't thinking the impact.
Yes.
And the impact is insane.
Speaking of that song, Time Will Remember, I have a theory that what's sort of a fact. I mean, I know that Ray Cappo is into theater music, so he used to listen to Pippin, He had
Wow.
a cassette of Pippin on that Youth Today 88 tour. So if you listen to certain Youth Today songs, specifically on Where Else Alone, that record, there's like a theater element to it. And I
Really?
feel like there's that doesn't get talked about enough. That's why I'm here on this podcast today.
Wow.
To talk about the theater influence on Youth Today.
That is crazy.
This is a
Wow.
time will remember. It's like a theater. Look at it
When
that
you
way.
sing it like that,
Yeah. Next time
I
you
can
listen
hear
to
it.
it, just close your eyes and think about like Pippi Longstocking or something.
that'd be cool if somebody from that genre to like record Youth of Today songs, sing it like that.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
So we can hear that.
He's the dude, right? Isn't he the guy?
I don't know, maybe.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Okay.
Call him up.
What he does those who do that.
Yes. He would do it.
Let's get into Trust Records. So
Yeah.
we know we had
Sick.
Walk Together, Rock Together come out, which I got. That was a great layout in the booklet and everything.
Yep.
The Crew came out.
Yep.
Youth Brigade came out.
Circle Jerks,
Sound
Group
of Fear-
Sex,
Circle Jerks, Group Sex.
and Wild
Wild in
in
the
the
Streets
Streets.
came out.
Aggression. DFL.
DFL came out.
Yep.
And then we're allowed to talk about what's coming out next. Yeah.
So coming up next week, we're gonna have probably be out by the time this comes out. But Stalag 13, Oxnard.
Great band.
Yep. In Control, Black and Gray, songs like that. And then Hepcat.
Which is crazy because I didn't know they were part of the BYO.
They were on
catalog,
BYO,
yeah,
and
before Epitaph or whatever.
so we, Trust puts out a lot of the BYO stuff, and so.
What's your job title at Trust? What do you do?
I don't really have a title, but I describe myself as sort of like the Swiss Army knife approach to a bunch of shit.
Okay,
So
I like
it's
that.
storytelling, marketing, which is social media, but it's also like what kind of partnerships, what should we do? Let's do an event. Where? That could be fun. Okay, cool. Because a lot of the challenge is like, how do we get the word out for this great music for the fans that want it, but also for like young kids? Like if the way when I was like 12 years old and I would walk down to 8th Street and go into like Butterfly or one of these stores, you look at the thing, you see a Dead Kennedy shirt and be like, fuck, I want that. This band looks interesting. I'm in.
Totally.
And you just like, whatever sucks you in. So trying to create those moments to, for preservation. So, kind of pretending like, all right, let's say, so like 10, 20, 30 years, how are you going to find out about this band? So these days, a lot of it is video. So we'll make, one of our things is for pretty much every release, we try and make a video. So we made a Young Till I Die 7 seconds video. We
I saw
made
that. It's great.
I think
Atiba was in there, but was skating. All the pros were skating in it.
that was Wild in the Streets.
That was Wild in the Streets. That was awesome.
Atiba
Lizzie
made
Armada
that-
was in there.
Yeah, so making like Wild in the Streets needs a fucking video. Like some songs
that was really cool.
need a video.
Forgot about that.
Not everything does, but some do. And so it's just creating these things and that will hopefully attract new audiences to it for years to come.
So would there be a 7 seconds video for something off of New Wind, my favorite album of all time?
Maybe. We're talking about it right now. We're trying to get our shit together for that. That's going to be coming out by the end of the year. So New Wind, what would be the song? New Wind, probably?
I don't know. And we know who produced it too, which is awesome.
Yes. There's some, I don't know if we can talk about that just yet. But
I talked with him about it because I wasn't supposed to know about it, but I mentioned it. And then he texted, show how I knew about it. But yeah.
But like SNFU is coming next year.
Woo!
That shit's gonna
no
be
one else
great.
wanted to play?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Such a sick record.
Dude, what a great band, dude.
Yeah. And there's some other bangers and things being worked. And it's really cool. And it's working with my friend Joe Nelson and Matt
Shout out to
Pincus.
Joe Nelson. Yeah, Pincus too.
And my friend Mike Nucero, who's a little younger Long Island dude that I met through Vinny Caruana. And
Vinny
Mike's
Movie Life, shout out.
Yeah, Mike is just super talented. He and I work really well together. And I just have it's like creative, like
It
it's
is.
I'm in a real creative spot right now of just like, and with Trust, and with Red, but Trust really could have a lot of freedom to do like, yo, let's do this. Let's have an event, and we're gonna, if
At Brain Dead did a couple cool things. These pop up.
yeah, we'll do like
things.
these movie
Yeah.
partnerships with Brain
love
Dead,
it.
and just like we're just trying to have fun and if be creative with it and tell the story of these artists.
And you're playing in 7 seconds, which probably were a big band for you growing up.
It's huge. So that came about, I was starting working Trust and back working with Joe Nelson a lot, and he hit me up and said, listen, Trust is involved in the Circle Jerks 7 Seconds Negative Approach tour.
Ooh.
Their drummer Troy Mowat can't do it anymore.
Shout out
They need
to
a
Troy
drummer.
Mowat, man.
Troy's great,
Best.
He gave the blessing, get a new drummer.
Which is nice.
I can't do it, and I think physically he just couldn't do it, and
Yeah.
So Joe thought of me. I know Kevin and Steve and Bobby and
Love them.
and I was just like, yeah, I'm in. Like, let's fucking do it. And it's great. Like,
It sounds so great, dude.
Songs are so. Thank you. Like the songs are. It's just such like.
I remember you sending me set list stuff. You guys were doing different songs up for like Soul Force and New Wind and maybe even like Ourselves. And
I was asking you and like Andy Norton and a few people of just like.
Andy Norton Praise.
Just like what song should we do? Because I think part of my role a little bit, if for most of these bands, is like I approach it kind of like a fan of just like, what do I want to fucking like? What's the set list going to be? What songs do you want to hear? What Shelter songs do you want to hear? Do you not want to hear? Or like,
do you write in the set list for the bands?
For the most part, yeah. Not seven. I mean,
it seems like
not
drummers
7
do
seconds.
that. It's like a drummer thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with the drummer role of just being able to like see it from a different perspective, I guess, or thinking about tempos. I think. Maybe singers a lot of times would be like, I love this song because I'm singing about this. I love this song because I'm singing about this. I love this song because I'm singing about this. But it's like, you're also got to think about tempos and, you know.
And how it flows together.
You don't want to play fucking 5 fast songs with no mosh parts in a row.
True.
You got to switch it up.
It's got to have a good vibe, energy to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to have the good connect. But yeah. I was just thinking about, was it 7 seconds? Oh, Lars from Metallica. He writes all the set lists from jump.
Yeah.
And they'll never play the same song twice in the city. So he runs the whole thing.
That's a lot of work.
And so and Max is starting to write set lists for our band. And
I've tried to be that band of like, we're gonna play a different set list every night.
It's hard.
It's hard because you
get so tight, dude.
Yeah, there's something nice about getting really tight, and certain songs work better as like closers or openers or whatever.
Yeah, I started to play them. It sounded incredible, man. You guys was so tight, and Kevin's voice was so good.
Yeah,
the Circle
songs
Jerks.
are so good. Like he and
playing Calendar and stuff. Oh man.
Yeah, like I'm just a fan, so a lot of it, like someone was asking me about like, how do you remember the songs? It's like the songs kind of play themselves.
Yeah,
like they're just you know the song, like this is how it goes. Now it's time to change. You go here, you go there.
Did you love those later records, or is it you loving it more now?
I'm getting hip to them. I was really more like I peaked at Walk Together, and then I got into
Walk Together.
Yeah, and then I got into the Crew, and New One was cool, but it was also a little bit like, what's going on here? This is a little different. You know, again, I was like 15. Or something when I heard it, but yeah, now I'm starting to have an appreciation for some of those later songs.
It's funny because Kevin talks about how like the scene kind of turned their back for New Wind, but then the most love they got was when they came to New York and played that on that tour.
Yeah,
because
timing is everything with the shit, and sometimes it takes years for people to appreciate it. But I love like the there's something cool and weird about that second, that last bold 7-inch or We Got a Dankos.
I love We Got a Dankos, dude.
Yeah, but at the time it was like,
who's this new singer? Yeah,
I want to hear fucking Can I Say or something. Know. So
I love We Got, but the second Uniform Choice was hard for me. I'll keep it 100.
I appreciated that what they were going for. Yeah. Now looking back, like, well, that's bugged out, like Staring at the Sun, and I don't think it was a good sounding record too. Maybe which made.
Then he had Mindfunk.
Yeah, I lost me at Mindfunk.
I didn't realize how. I listened to Uniform Choice recently. I was like, wow, this is like the West Coast Minor Threat. I never even thought about it. The lyrics, everything, like the sound, it was just...
The first record is insane. Yeah.
But dude, 7 Seconds, Man Enough to Care. I'd love to hear that.
What about Drop Acid? I never really listened to that. Was it good?
I never heard that either, no.
Okay, we should listen to Drop Acid.
I haven't listened to Drop Acid.
Yeah.
But so now you're liking those songs, those later on songs.
Yeah.
So for Satyagraha, ooh, man.
Also, like from a production standpoint, like I also appreciate like reverb and like deep snare drums and like kind of weird like shit that really like new wave stuff in hardcore that at the time I was like I don't think I'm into this, but now I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's so like a chorus on a guitar or some kind of just like
the guitar sounds on those records.
Yeah, those sounds are like really
especially Ourselves too. It was really U2 vibe-ish and the Praise 7-inch. But kudos
Which
to
record
them.
Was Busy Little People on?
Soul Force Revolution.
We played that one recently.
Fugazi vibe to that song.
Good.
Yeah. But like that was pretty punk taking a chance back then and changing up their sound like that. 7 Seconds. He grew his hair out. I remember seeing him on that tour. He loved you too. Just going for it like that.
I think Troy as a drummer. I remember we played at the Stone in San Francisco Youth Today in 7 Seconds. But yeah, he had the timbali. And there was some reggae shit going on.
Yeah, dude.
And the cowbells.
Yes.
And that's fun. Like when I have a cowbell that I bought specifically for 7 Seconds. Like I think it's important to do that.
Did you ever have a cowbell before then?
Not really. Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, not really.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool to see you playing with, 7 Seconds is like, dude.
It's great.
And they're killing it still and sounds so great.
Yeah.
I can see new 7 Seconds stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool to see you playing with that. This was quoted. I was watching Judge in Canada at this show we played with you guys many years. Maybe we first came back. It was like a festival or something. I was with Carl Earthchrist. He's like, you know what, man? He's like, bringing it down is the age of coral, is a straight edge age of coral. It's kind of hard. You ever hear that before?
No. There was some.
It's kind of sick.
There was some. I mean, I'm a huge Age of Quarrel fan, but there was some Instagram
Perfect.
thing comparing the two.
Oh, really?
It was pretty funny. Like, it was pro bringing it down.
Wow.
But it was just talking about like more mosh parts or like more this or more that or something. But no, I mean,
if you think about it, really
straight
is,
edge.
though.
Well, we were influenced by it, so we were trying specifically to rip off, Age of Quarrel, Best Wishes, not to rip off, but we're listening to Best Wishes.
Oh, really?
I think and Age of Quarrel, but also like Suicidal, How I Laugh Tomorrow, I think was out.
Yeah, dude.
And we were just like we wanted to make a record like that. Like, how do those?
There is a suicidal influence with Jared. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never really think about that.
Yeah, like and we wanted to make a pro record. That's why we went to Chungking. But that didn't work out because we didn't have enough money to actually make a real record with a producer and the time that was needed. So they gave us these interns, different engineers every day, coming in and out, different assistants, like people just like, doing drugs. They were doing drugs, like we were straight edge, and they were like losing track. Shit was disappearing. And that's why that record, we ultimately put that out as Chungking Could Suck It.
Do you have a copy of that?
I fucking don't have any more original copies.
Dude.
Yeah.
One of the most highest selling records.
When is this podcast coming out, you think?
Whatever you want, man. Wow, what do you got?
November?
Why is it re-releasing this? Re-releasing this?
We're going to re-release it on Revelation Records.
No way,
dude. In November, so don't release this till November.
It's never been released since then?
Well, there was a little, there was like a little bit of a conversation about it, but no, it hasn't been released. And so the thought was like, it was Rev hit 200 releases. So Rev 200, what do we do? Let's do something special. So we talked about a couple of things, couldn't figure it out. It's like, you know what? Let's just do Chungking as Rev 200, flip the cover. Instead of black on white or dark blue on white, it's going to be white on black.
Sick.
And it's remastered.
Really?
And it's dope. It's going to be really good. I think.
Wow, this is huge news, man.
Hopefully people won't bum out. I don't see why they would. I mean, it's not like
all the people that bought ones for really a lot of money back then.
I mean, it wouldn't like it's a different cover and shit, and so I don't think it would cheapen anything they have. But I think it's also cool for, I think it always
collectors, man.
Yeah, but this will be like, we're not making 100 of them. We're going to make like a bunch. So people can, if you ever wanted one, you can have one.
There was only 100 of the first one?
Yeah.
Damn. So the people bought those for thousands of dollars. They get a chance to get the new one, which is cool. I think that's awesome.
Or people who could never got it ever.
How many years later? Like 30 years? More than that?
Yeah, something like that. I think it originally came out in like 87
That's
or something like that.
That's a great idea, man.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be fun.
I think people will be stoked on that.
Yeah.
And then we get new ones coming out, which I'm really psyched about. That's been reproduced, that's been remastered, everything.
Yes.
I got to hear the person that produced. I got to hang out with them and hear these songs played to me somewhere. And it was like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It sounded so crazy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like, I mean, part of the for Revelation and for Trust, it's like, or any of my bands, whatever. Or I'm sure you know this too. Like, how do you don't want to like change it. I'm not really into like reinventing the wheel kind of thing, but at the same time, we live in a digital age now.
Totally.
Like it sucks when your song plays and it's quieter than the other songs. So it's like that needs to be remastered. That needs to be a little bit louder. You don't have to change it too much sonically.
Were you there when they remastered it? Were you in the mix
for Judge for Chungking?
Yeah.
I did it with this dude, Mike Calgin, who it's and it's cool as now, like you meet people who are like, fuck yeah, I'll do it. I'm also a big fan, so that's nice. So and it sounds better. Not, I think, again, it's not trying to make it different. It's just trying to make it a little more, what kind of technology do they have now? Like,
do you have demos from that, stuff like that back then?
Do
you have any demos from stuff that never made it to records, those classic records?
I have some shit, it's, the problem is it's all in storage on the East Coast. It's like in my basement.
It'd be sick to release that someday though.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but at the same time, the shit that I'm really interested in is CB soundboards. Like I remember having these Mayhem CB soundboards and like Straight Ahead CB soundboards and shit, and like putting those out, I guess.
That'd be cool to get those.
Some of the demos kind of like, there was a time of Revelation, I think, when like the CD box sets were a thing, where it was just like, put out every version of this song. And I feel like I want to get away from that. Like, I don't think I want like 5 whack versions of The Storm out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're just getting to judge, like I want you to hear the best version.
Yeah.
At least for streaming, for DSPs,
I wonder who has those soundboard recordings from CBs.
Luke's got a bunch.
Wow,
yeah,
man.
I think I've got a few. But cassettes are tricky because they fall apart. But this guy, I saw him the other day, actually, Dan Johnson, Audio Archiving. Trust uses him a lot, and he's got like this magical shit where he can restore tapes. So he did the SSD tapes,
okay,
which were totally fucked up.
Wow.
Just, corroded and this and that.
Yeah.
And he cleaned them off, kind of like, back to new pretty much.
So are there other labels you're working with to get in their catalogs as well, moving forward, obviously with Trust, like a Caroline would be kind of sick too. Warzone, there's a bunch of stuff in Caroline too, right?
Yeah, I think that part
Murphy's Law
that's a little bit more like on what Joe is doing. And
or Chromags, which was on,
trying.
I know.
Trying.
I heard you guys were.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Profile.
It's just like you
Who
gotta.
has those, dude.
The cool thing about Trust, or I guess any label or any business, it's like you build it and they will come. Like you just have to be patient. Like someone might not be ready to sell right now, but you never know. Like
I'm sure you have a big wish list, bucket list.
Yeah, a lot of it is just shoring up I know for myself, like when I die, like who's going to put out our records, our music, like when we die, right? Like, so you want it in good hands. It's hard maybe that doesn't exist. I don't know. And that's kind of the idea with Trust. It's like, like you want to, let's put this out in a way that's, or hopefully put it in good hands.
I hope that one of my masters is like one of our albums. Let's have something like that to like leave behind,
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get that.
Mm-hmm.
We have like our record came out in 2001 in a major label. We've been trying to get it forever. Like who knows where the label went under, the people are gone. It's like, who has that?
Yeah. It just takes a little time, a little effort,
I know.
like,
especially if somebody passes away that owns the label, just something like that. Then what?
Right.
Man.
Right.
So just like own one thing, like Jay-Z owns Reasonable Doubt, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, reverting, your master's reverting, like there's like that 25-year rule now, or
it is
in certain states. I think there were 25, 30 years where you can get your master's back. I think it's a little vague, but like Bob Dylan did it, and some people have done it.
Man,
yeah, we're getting to that point.
I know, isn't it crazy, dude? Yeah. It's crazy. Like we're in our 50s, we're playing music. We're like still kind of living this kind of big kid lifestyle. We're adults. We have responsibilities, but we're still going on tour, being big kids.
Yep.
Telling the same stupid jokes, hanging out with our friends, playing music.
It's a good time. I'm definitely thankful for it. I loved playing when I was younger, but I really love it now. I'm able to appreciate it in a different way. Like, shit that would stress me out as a younger kid, like I'm better at just, being in the moment and just like enjoying it. And
it's crazy you're playing songs from when you were a kid still.
Yeah.
And they probably sound way different.
They're good fucking songs. That's the thing too. Like,
test of time,
and I did like, they're really, some of the songs are just they're great. Like they age well, and
they do, man.
Hardcore songs in general, like just there's some fucking gems.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the long career you had with all the different bands, you're still playing it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like since you were a kid, bro. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, curious how it's gonna end.
Was your last real job was before you got the job in California? Were you doing music all the way up until coming to
I was
Cali?
in full like hustle mode. I was living in New York. I did buy an apartment.
Yeah, that was really smart.
And so
Congrats
it was
on
like,
that.
but it was just like a mortgage payment, and I had 2 apartments, and one was rented. So it was like finding a tenant, just a lot of just hustling. And but yes, I was freelance. My wife was modeling. She was freelance.
Awesome.
So but they were both careers that were just like up and down, not very stable.
Yeah,
I've kind of slid into this like my wife knew this guy Tommy Hilfiger, and I DJ'd like one. I wasn't
you
really
said Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, I wasn't really a DJ.
This guy.
No, knew a guy at Tommy Hilfiger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a crazy name.
Yeah, this guy Ralph Lauren. No, this guy that worked at Tommy. He grew up with Tommy actually, but
okay.
And I just DJ'd one of their like fashion events, and I brought all vinyl, and I was just like all over the place, like reggae into hip hop and rock and whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You're our guy, we love it." So that lasted for like 10 years of just doing a lot of Tommy, music things, curating music for their stores, I went to Mexico City, did an event for them there. So that was fun. You just have like your hustles.
You've always been the mixed music though, behind the scenes or whatever.
I think you just develop that survival, being in New York especially, and being a drummer. It's like you got to fill in the gaps. So it's like I started doing jingles. My brother-in-law had a production company. I was scoring like Avon commercials, just scoring. Me and Ian Love were.
So you got some cool commercials?
Yeah, me and Ian Love had a studio.
Oh, that's right, Ian Love.
So yes. he and I were like scoring shit together, and
I remember Ian Love at the studio. That's right.
Yeah, just
on
like
6th Avenue, his old place.
Odd jobs, man.
Wow,
making it work.
Man.
And that's why
always hustling.
Yeah, always hustling. So that's why my friend was like, "Yo, come to California and work at this ad agency. We need like a music dude." And I was just like, "Huh, a job? That sounds interesting."
Yeah, and you just like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah, I mean, it took a year of do they want me, and then also do I want it? But as my friend said, he's like, "Go there, try it. If it sucks, come back." So I went, and then it was like, "Huh, this is pretty chill."
But I liked how you always did other things. Like I've always done other things besides the band. I know some of our friends just have the band and that's it. And
yeah.
Like it was rough for them during the pandemic. They just, this is all they do. I like that you weren't afraid of getting a job or working or all that shit. No ego. You're playing this. I'm playing Limp Bizkit. I'm playing this band. I'm doing this, but I'm gonna take care of my bills, be responsible. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a believer in if like you don't take chances, then you don't grow. Like if you don't get out of your comfort zone, then you won't get to the next place. And you kind of like, you could cruise in your comfort zone if that's your thing and that's what you want to do. But like for me, like, do something, switch it up, like, and I've, like getting asked to play on a Limp Bizkit record was just like, that's weird.
Which one was that again?
The Unquestionable Truth Part 1.
Okay. I just saw them recently. It was like insane, like 30 or 40,000 people here on that tour.
They're having a moment. But again, because they have good songs like Age Well, like
I know, dude.
The fucking Nookie or Break stuff, like those are anthems,
And they're so tight. It's original lineup, and I knew almost all the songs, like the big songs, but I never really owned a record. Yeah. And I'm friends with Fred, obviously, and that's why I went to see it. And I was like, dude, it was so insane, bro. I was like, what year is it, man? Yeah. It was incredible, man.
Yeah, they're also like a lot, live. I feel like in these festival settings these days with some of these big, hip hop or pop bands, like they don't really have the live chops where
they got that,
as soon as Limp Bizkit comes up, like they've got the live chops.
Dude. Yeah. It's crazy, man, to see that. That's great. You play Limp Bizkit, that's right.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot to that of just taking chances. And I kind of get into it with, with some of the folks at Rev who have been there for a long time who don't want to really break the mold and get a little nervous about risk. And I'm just like, fuck it. Like you don't, whatever. If it could be something as like an odd color T-shirt or something. It's like, let's try it. Like, fuck it. You gotta, you don't know. And you gotta kind of get out of your comfort zone and take chances.
Yeah. There were these messed up judge scarves. They got that pink or something that weren't going to be sold. You might have heard about this. I don't know. They never came out, but I heard about it. Then Mike sent me a picture and he sent it to us. We have like these pink judge scarves. They're so sick, but they were never sold or something.
Interesting. I don't think I've seen them.
Ooh, I gotta show it to you. Yeah. I think they were outvoted or something. I'm like, dude, these dudes have been so cool.
Wow. I know there was like a yellow purple one that someone made at some point, but But yeah, like just with honestly, that job at that ad agency was totally different and it was super mainstream shit. Like, but it was fun. I learned how to like use a computer and like build a deck and like, certain programs and just certain like how to compose an email or just like certain etiquette and things. And there was some shitty moments, but you learn from those too. And to then, then I got fired after 5 years. Like they fire, like as these companies do. Yeah. It's like, we're laying off people, and I got laid off. So then I was like, fuck. And it was funny about like, job security and stability. It almost made me think of like, whoa, I had more security in my Sammy Hustle days when I kind of had this like plethora of hustles. Yeah. So that if one disappeared, I saw these other ones. Totally. Whereas when I had all my eggs in this one job basket, and then all of a sudden it goes away. Yeah. So that was a little sobering. But then, hardcore to the rescue, Jason Peterson, who was from Arizona. He was in Wind to Change and Youth Under Control. He was a big time dude, chief creative officer at Havas, which was like another ad agency.
Is he a photographer?
Yes.
That's that dude?
Yes.
Oh, we follow each other. I met him at the Riot Fest. I didn't know that's where he was in those bands. I didn't know that.
Loves big hardcore, dude. Good dude.
Wow, bro. That's cool.
So he hired me. He's like, dude, I need a music guy. Come. And he was great. And that was
really
fun.
Cool.
Except then he got fired, then I got fired. But so that's when I went back to Rev and Trust and playing a lot more, which was cool too. It's all like, it's a fucking journey, man, and it's flying by.
It is flying by. What kind of music is your daughter into?
She's into a lot of shit, but she like a few Bad Brain songs, like the song I Against I, loves it. Some grunge, like really into Alice in Chains right now.
Sick.
Veruca Salt, L7 she plays sometimes.
I love that, man. It's cool.
But then a little bit of like some Hispanic music and some pop, but
that's cool.
But yeah, some hip hop. She's like, I just played her shit since she was little.
Do you go to hip hop shows with her or concerts?
I don't know if we went to the what is it, Camp Flognog?
Oh yeah, I went to that too.
Yeah. I don't know if that counts as a hip hop show. But
yeah,
that
was sick. Yeah, Tyler, it was great.
Yeah,
dude.
she liked Turnstile a lot, so that was kind of the reason.
I might have saw you there or something.
Yeah, and then Cali played, which was dope because that's like something that she turned me on to. I was like, Cali I don't know, but it was
like when the kids turn you on to shit, dude. Your kids is cool.
Yeah.
Opened my mind to Slipknot and a bunch of music I've never listened to.
Yeah.
And what does she want to do?
It changes now.
Well, she's still young, right? But
something about a nurse the other day she was talking about, which is cool. It's better than a flight attendant, which is it's cool to be a flight attendant too. But there was a moment where I was like, "What do you want to be?" She's like, "Flight attendant." I was like,
Flying all the time. Yeah.
Or a photographer. I don't know. She's wanted to do different shit, but she just started high school, and it's
crazy, man.
Yeah, she plays bass. She's a nasty bass player, but
oh, really?
Yeah, but she's kind of like just like does it, and I feel like she doesn't have the bug, which is fine. I don't push her really.
Yeah.
But she's really good. Like she did the whole School of Rock thing, and they did.
Oh, that's cool.
I remember I dropped her off at School of Rock. She's like, I don't want to do it. I was like, look, just try one, and if you don't like it, you don't have to go. And she came out. She's like, I like it. I want to do it. I was like, cool. I was like, so what music are you guys going to work on? She's like, well, we're going to do this record called OK Computer by this band Radiohead.
Dude.
And I was like, holy shit, that is a pretty heavy fucking thing to take on.
That's amazing. Yeah.
She was like 12 at the time, and she ripped it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you play any other instruments besides drums?
I dabble in a guitar. I play like a regular guitar, but I turn it upside down because I'm left-handed, and I play it lefty and upside down.
Crazy.
And bass the same way. And like I just sort of have always like fucked around and do a couple chords, but during the pandemic, I kind of wrote like 15 tunes.
What kind?
Just music, like beginning to end, because I'm good at arrangements and shit.
Yeah.
And so, and then I demoed them. I demoed them with a friend of mine. I played the drums, and then I overdubbed the guitar, and then Cash from Rival Schools played bass.
Oh wow!
But then I was like, "Fuck, I need a singer." But they're kind of mellow and they're groovy, and I dig them, and I had so much fun. You know, it's like they just started coming. Like, oh shit, this is cool. It's cool.
So, what style of music was it like?
Like chill. I don't know. Like maybe like you ever listen to like Tommy Guerrero's music at all?
Kind of, probably heard that. Yeah.
Like just more of a vibe, chill beats.
But nobody sang on it yet.
No. So now I'm like annoyed because a few years have passed already, and then I feel old, and it's like fuck. But I'm just trying to enjoy the fact that I did it, and I listen to I listen to them, and yeah, it felt good to make them. So I don't know. I'd like to tend to do that one time, put out an EP or put out just a weird.
I can see you producing stuff too. Or
I like to produce. I've tried.
Yeah.
I started on the wrong foot. I initially was like, I'm gonna become a producer. I like doing that. I can do it. And this was years ago, and I remember Rev was doing a Shai Hulud record.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, Jordan, I want to produce it. And he's like, oh, I'll hook you up with this guy, Matt Fox. And
I know Matt Fox, yeah.
And I fucking started doing it. I don't know if you know out there, Shai Hulud, it's like the craziest motherfucking math metal.
It's wild,
like,
man.
It's totally like the wrong band to start producing with. And they had like the song titles before they even had the music written.
Damn.
Like it was all fucking weird. Like it was crazy. And I didn't end up producing. I started. It didn't work out, but I've produced a few other things. It's fun.
That's cool. What about somebody like you'd like to play with still? Is there any like bands you like to play with or work with?
I mean, I'm bummed I didn't get the call for who's it the other day? Who was it? Linkin Park was looking for someone the other day.
They were?
Maybe not. Foo Fighters was. They didn't call me.
I thought it was dope when his son played though. That was a sick moment, man.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
But like it would
Freeze
be nice.
Is dope.
Freeze is great. I wouldn't mind like a chill gig where I don't really break a sweat, but I just get to like rock out. That'd be kind of fun. Like
some super mellow
Adele or something. Just chill. Just like dude. I get to wear a suit and just kind of kick it, and like
I love Adele.
Do my thing.
Sade. Oh, dude.
Yeah, Sade would be tight.
There's a new record coming out too.
Yeah.
That'd be sick, man. I could see you doing like some Mackie shit. Mackie played with like Charles and Eddie.
Yes.
These crazy other bands like.
Yeah. But I'm also like I'm not good at every style, but I'm fucking good at heavy music. So I hit hard, and so I guess playing in a heavy band, that would be good.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Well, you're killing it, man. There was so many things going on. There was so many bands. It was cool going to see the Sammy Fest basically at 1720.
That was funny.
Side by Side, Judge, Youth of Today, and Shelter.
Sammy Palooza.
Dude, Sammy Palooza.
Side by Side, Judge.
You can do that all around the country,
Side by
bro.
Side. Youth Today, Side by Side. Yeah, Shelter.
Dude.
It just worked out that way. I mean,
the judge set was like probably one of the best Judge shows I've seen probably since you came back.
That was a good Judge show.
Dude.
1720 was great. I kind of, to be honest, like I sort of researched it a lot and asked around a lot.
Definitely not a good area to park your car, but
no, but I think music venue like better than someone was talking about like the Belasco maybe or the Regent, and I was like, I don't know if that's the vibe, man, for a Youth Today set. Really.
No, it was a perfect venue, perfect show, packed, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like really physical, so I like to be busy and I like to play.
How exhausted were you after those?
I was pretty
shows?
cool. The hardest part, man, is like the day of like the schlep of your drums, like dragging them, setting them up, breaking them down, carrying them to the next show, all that shit. So for me, I had my own.
You leave drums there both nights?
I had my own drum set for starters, which is a luxury because I rarely get to play on my own shit.
Okay.
So I play better on my own kit, I think.
Sure, yeah.
And then I get to leave it there.
That's awesome.
So that honestly was like the second day, I didn't have to sound check, just a quick little line check. I didn't have to set my kit up or anything. So that made it all kind of, and I got to sleep at home.
You could do that in New York or somewhere too, right? You plan on doing that more?
I would like to do it more. I mean, it's got to be a win for everyone else, I guess. I mean, that just worked out that way, but I would, like what I was saying earlier about
7 seconds, yes, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like I was saying earlier about like, packages. Like I think that I want to do more. You know, we talk about like a Rev Fest in London,
cool.
A Rev Fest
Trust
in Berlin.
one,
or like a Trust event, or or that Positive Force kind of fest, and just doing these certain bands. And it's not just me being selfish, like I want to play in every band. It's just like certain bands work. Judge Youth of Today works. People want to see that. Dude. That we did that in Richmond a while back. Except Mike didn't show up. That was weird. Mike had some last minute emergency.
He didn't show up?
No, he's never done that ever. And
who sang?
Purcell.
That's I can see that.
It was good. I felt bad though, but it was we were good. It still had a vibe. But yeah, certain bands go well together. I think Shelter and Civ did a run of shows on the East Coast recently, and that also went well.
Yeah, that's a good
it's like
package.
A real 90s type shit.
Total 90s one.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were back in the 90s. It was H2O, Civ, Shelter on the first couple shows back. I remember something like that. Were you in contact with Mike all those years when he just kind of vanished and did his thing?
Not at all. He vanished and did his thing.
Over 20 years, right?
Yeah, like not at all. It was just like, okay, I'd heard rumors that he was doing all kinds of shit. I think
rumors
one
were crazy.
time he called when Charlie and Walter were living on Leroy Street, and I think I picked up the phone, and that was like the first time I'd heard his voice in a while.
Wow.
But
is it true the reason how he came back is that this is what I was told, that he texted Civ trying to get two friends into a Sick of It All show. And then Civ's like, oh shit, it's Mike Judge hit me up about this. And it's like, yeah, I got you, but you should come to this. And
I definitely know
that's when you invited him to the B&B Bowl.
To B&B, yeah. And then did he come up and play New York Crew, or no? He just
didn't.
Watched?
I was there. He watched, yeah.
But yeah, that was the moment that it kind of clicked for him. Yeah, Civ was definitely like in his ear, like, you got to come back, bro. People need this. And
I remember him saying when he came back, he's like, why are we playing before Breakdown? Like he had no idea like the size of the impact or anything for Judge. And then which was cool. He's like, I don't think we should be playing that slot. He's like, no, we're good. And then both those shows sold out, and it was just, we flew out for that show. It was like insane.
That first night, that Saturday was a very special, like chills kind of fucking moment.
So like, talking about each song, just the crowd was just like,
yeah.
Was that documented?
Yeah.
Sure? Yeah.
So that's in. What was cool was
that's in the Noisy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Noisy thing was great.
Yeah, it was.
Shout out to Trevor Sims, who was part of that. Yeah,
4-part series. I did it with my friend Seth, this kid I worked at that ad agency with, who's like really talented.
That was great, man.
Yeah, it was. It was cool. We did it. Mike talked. He was a great interview and talked a lot about what he was doing in those years, but didn't really divulge. He divulged a lot, but there was still a mystery to it.
Yeah, I love the mystery.
But a few months later, we played a show in Spain. I remember we sat down. We're like the whole band. We're having this like epic fucking like 2-hour lunch, just talking shit. And he started getting into some like real stories.
Damn.
I was like, how come this isn't in the doc, man?
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying before about like Civ
dude.
Getting in Mike's ear, and like I feel like a lot of my role these days, and part of the reason why I'm playing is because it's like, I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, Ray Cappo's not sitting around like, fuck, I gotta play Youth Today show.
No.
And Kevin's not sitting around
You're
saying,
the motivator, dude.
Kevin's not like, I gotta play a fucking 7-second show. Like, it's a lot of just like, hey, people want this, let's do it. Or we
got offered this. We have this opportunity. These shows come. This festival. You're in the mix, dude.
Who does that in your band?
Me.
Yeah?
Yeah, me and Adam, yeah.
That's cool.
For sure.
Fuck, I wish I was in a band with a singer. The singer that did that.
Dude, me and Adam, dude, for sure.
Yeah. No, it takes someone that's got to initiate it. And I'm
trying to keep the band always like doing cool shit.
Yeah.
Everything. Even if it's like, I don't know. We're in it right now. We're just in it for the love of the game. We love it. We all have like other incomes. We have other things we do. We go out and play shows. You pick and choose fun festivals and fun shows. And it's still fun. We love playing the songs. It's fun,
Mm-hmm.
It's always been that way. But yeah,
well, you get like better. There's something like they say about getting older. Like, yes, you lose some things, but you gain other things. And so one of the things you gain is like you're, aside from an appreciation for it, but you're good at it. You're good at what you do. And so to get up and do something that you've worked really hard to become. You want, if you don't have an outlet for that must be frustrating.
Totally.
So I'm super thankful. Like, I've been fucking playing drums for 40 years.
It's so crazy, dude.
Let me play.
Yeah, you keep playing, right? So you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, man.
Yeah. Am I going to not play? Like, I'm going to do it.
I know.
It doesn't,
And all the bands, they all kill it in their own way, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quality. Again, it's like, and I'm not taking the credit because I didn't write a lot of the tunes, but they're just great. Like to play these fucking rival school songs. It's great. I love it. I'm a fan, and for a lot of the bands.
Did you play in GB ever?
I did play in the beginning, and I played in 85, my friend Chris met Dylan, who was Walter's brother.
Yep, shout out
and
to
he's
Dylan.
like, my brother's got this band Gorilla Biscuits, and a drummer, so my friend plays drums, and we hooked up at my dad's warehouse.
Cool.
And I would think I was like still kind of punk. I was like smoking a cigarette probably. I had like I don't think I had my leather jacket on, but it was a weird time. Like it was really early GB. Like we played Better Than You, but it was kind of like
Sick.
Better Than You crew, the Better Than
Wow,
You
it's kind of cool.
crew. We
Though.
played like that version. We had a song called About Mr. T. You know that one? T don't die, just goes hell of a group. Saga.
I think so, yeah.
Had a mosh part. T don't die. He goes to hell to regroup.
Oh my God.
So it was bugged out, and I played a show with them at the Right Track Inn, the Birth of Unity show.
Oh yeah, it's Long Island.
In
Yeah.
85. And then they kicked me out because I wasn't that good. And they got Ernie back in.
Oh wow.
And then I joined Side by Side after, and
That's
a
it.
bunch of bands. But then later, like I think Luke went to college, and in like 91,
the Live in 91 video.
Yeah, when we went to Europe, and then the Live in 91 video.
Yeah. That's a great video. That was Sick of It All,
Yeah.
Agnostic Front, Gorilla Biscuits.
Yes.
That's an incredible VHS.
And that was the show. Is that the show where Minus got stabbed at the end, though? Or
that's
no?
the Marquee show. That's
the
a different
Marquee
show.
show. Okay,
That was a
different show.
crazy night too. Dude.
That's right. Two different shows.
That was a GB show too.
Yeah. So I played that one too, but that was sort of like, that was kind of the end.
It was the end because Siv's wearing creepers.
Yeah.
And that's like right before the Civ. Everybody had long hair. Everybody looked totally different.
We all just kind of checked out for a bit and did our whatever other, Quicksand happened, Moondog, and then
that's
Quicksand.
91, 92 we talked about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But so yes, those were my time with Gorilla Biscuits, which was great. It was fun. The tour in Europe was really cool. The 90. I didn't do the 89, the 91 tour.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was like 2 months, summer of 91. Really bugged out version of the band. It was like Tom Capone, Purcell. Walter was actually playing bass. I was playing drums, Siv.
Damn.
And we were just like, kind of in this like transitioning phase.
Yeah. That was that.
But it was cool.
What about at Warzone? You playing Warzone?
No.
Never.
I loved Warzone. I was like a huge Warzone
dude.
fan.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Struggle era. And honestly, that 7-inch, I'm a huge fan of. Like
Lower East Side Crew, yeah, dude.
loved it. Like War Between Races.
Yeah, dude.
It's such a great fucking song.
Damn.
And they were so good live. Rabies was super cool.
Were the bands you wanted to be in back then? Did I wish I was in that band, like New York hardcore band.
I mean, I loved Altercation. I don't know if I wanted to be in the band. Beyond, I loved. I felt like I couldn't play good enough to be in the band.
So, that's Alan Cage, right?
Yeah, Alan, and the guy before Alan that played on the demo was just sick, like Long Island Kid. They're like all like Long Island dudes that could shred.
Yeah.
I played in Bold on a tour that was really fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Purcell and I filled in on a tour, and I love those songs. I was like a huge Bold fan, so to play that show was great.
Are they still playing shows now?
I don't think so. I saw Matt's new band the other day. Ancient Domains.
He's got a new band. Where does he live? In New York?
He's in New York.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe Connecticut or something like that. Somewhere on the East Coast. He's in a band with Biv from Super Touch. And
Dang.
it was cool to see him. And then, Tim has got Values Here with Purcell and those guys.
They're playing South America right now.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw Mark Supertouch at the Verbal Assault into another show a couple weeks ago.
That's cool.
That was cool.
I haven't seen him
here.
since he moved out here. Yeah.
That was cool seeing him. And homeboy from Beyond was there.
Yes, Kevin.
Everybody was there. It was like all dads. Josh Shift was there. It was cool seeing everybody out. So many people live right here. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
I love Cali, dude.
Yeah.
I think I live anywhere else, man. You got New York, so you're good to go. But
I like it out here too. I'm into it. It's really nice. It's fun. I really enjoyed moving. Like just I grew up on 15th Street. Like I said, lived downtown my whole life. Like never thought I was gonna fucking leave. And there's something cool about moving. At least with my wife and I, it's like an adventure.
It is.
And it's like, I remember like finding our place and be like, fuck, like, how do you take the garbage out? How do you, there's no Con Ed. Like, who's the electricity? How do you turn the electricity on?
Yeah.
Is water included? How do you pay for water? Like, I don't, like, just basic shit. Like, you learn.
Homeowner shit.
Just living and like how to, like driving. And, we've.
Driving. You ever driven New York? You drove in New York?
I did, but I was late. I mean, I failed the test twice. But then I ended up getting this old Chevy Nova, the 74 Nova, which was fucked up. But I think it made me a better driver because like you really had to drive it. Like the steering wheel was stiff and shit.
Yeah. Drive around Manhattan and shit.
But when I moved out here and I had that job, and I was like, I didn't think I was gonna be out here for a long time, so I leased a car.
Yeah.
But I never had like a brand new car, so like at least like a brand new Mazda.
Sick.
Had like fucking, airbags and shit that the Nova didn't have. And
like real adult shit.
Yeah, it was
adulting.
fun.
You have to grow up more when we come to Cali. I think to more responsibilities.
Yes. Well,
I do miss walking though.
Matt and I, Pincus and I, have talked about how he said something about like, he's like, yeah, there was a couple years where he's like, I just wanted to fucking like figure out how to do shit. Like I realized I didn't know how to do anything. And it's like when we were younger, we'd go on tour and we'd visit all these like Orange County Slothker kids. Like they all know how to like change a tire, like start a fucking fire, like
fix something,
like do things. And we didn't know how to do that as New Yorkers, or for some reason, like we just didn't.
It is interesting.
I mean, we had other skill sets that they didn't have, like street smarts and certain things, but there were certain like life things where like,
it's a great point, man.
Pitch a tent or something.
They grew up in houses and backyards and had space and all that stuff.
Yeah, they can do shit.
Driving everywhere.
Like put a trailer on the back of a car. I couldn't do that.
Same.
I still couldn't change a tire. I've never done it.
You still can't?
I've never done it.
Me either.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we're losers. Oh, no.
I would YouTube it or something. I'd figure it out.
I never changed a tire either.
Yeah.
I barely drive. I walk everywhere, and I do miss walking. I've been doing all my steps, but I saw my friend post. He was in New York. He's like, 38,000 steps today. Like, I used to live here. I can't imagine having these apps living in New York when we did, with all the steps and the miles we walked every day, bro.
I guess I could walk 7 miles in Venice. Where do you walk to?
I walk on Venice Boulevard. I walked home from Venice the other day. It was 8 miles. From Venice.
Down Venice Boulevard.
Yeah, or straight down to my house. Yeah.
Where do you turn? Where do you make your left?
It's right over here on Fairfax. Yeah,
Fairfax.
Straight down. Yeah, man. 8 miles. Nice walk, making phone calls, headphones, whatever it is, doing your thing.
Right.
It's interesting walking from here to Venice. It's interesting when you're walking in the streets of Los Angeles instead of driving by like the homeless encampments and stuff.
Yeah.
Walking by like people tweaking out, man.
Right.
I'm like crossing the street. It's like really like navigating through it. It's kind of wild between, and then it gets really nice once you get by Culver City. It's like a whole new world.
I mean, they should make it, more walkable. But yeah, like I remember during the pandemic, Derek biked from his house down to Venice.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like the first like human I saw that was not like, non-family.
It was such a crazy time, man.
Out of my bubble. Yeah.
You stayed in your bubble for a while, huh?
I did, but I mean, again, like living in LA didn't feel like quarantining.
I can't imagine people in New York on top of each other. That was gnarly, dude.
Like my sister lived.
They get hit really hard, dude.
Yes. My sister was living in Paris and like in an apartment building, and they weren't allowed out. You needed papers to go out and like all this bullshit.
That was crazy, bro.
I know.
Crazy time, man.
Let's not take it though. Let's go posy.
We're going posy. You an optimist or pessimist?
I'm glass half full. I notice it way more. Like talking to my mom, she's just like, everything sucks, and I'm just like, you know what? But yeah, but maybe it doesn't suck because this, and so I'm always glass half full.
You've always been like that, huh?
Yeah.
You have any regrets in your life?
I was thinking of one the other day.
Oh, you were?
But I forgot. No, I don't think I have.
You don't seem like a person that has that.
Regrets. Oh yeah. Just like little ones, like not. Okay, like Side by Side put out a 7-inch.
Okay.
We should have put out a fucking 12-inch.
Okay.
It would have been a game changer, right?
Probably, yeah.
I was in a band called 32 Tribes.
That's right.
We played all these fucking colleges, rehearsed like 4 days a week. We played Nels, played all this shit. We were good. We had songs. We fucking rehearsed so much. Never put out anything. We had a demo, but never put out a record.
That's interesting.
I should have sang for a band. Back then, everyone could have sang. You sang.
That would have been sick,
like dudes
dude.
were just like doing projects. Armand played drums. You sang. Like people could do that. Why didn't I just put out a 7-inch? I could have screamed.
Would you want to sing now in a band or not?
No, I don't think now.
Nah.
I don't think it's
That'd be weird.
Yeah, I mean maybe a recording, like some affected weird, like like, bugged out thing. But no, but singing for like a hardcore band, like I should have done that back then. That would have been fun just to document.
Yeah. What about therapy? You believe in therapy?
I believe in it.
You ever done it?
I've never really done it. Like
wow.
Like my mom and dad, like it was such like a New York like 80s kind of thing, and I mean it's still a thing now. But no, I'm a fan of it. I'm not against it. I think I would do it. I've just never, I've never done it. But I think communicating is great. Like I have a few really good. I have a bunch of friends, but a couple really good friends that I can feel like I can get into it with them.
Same.
And that helps me a lot. To just to vent.
But probably music's therapeutic for you too.
It is.
Well.
It is.
How you get your stress out and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but no, therapy I think is cool. I mean, especially in a relationship like, with
yes,
that is intense shit. We've been together for 25 years, and so like it's working. But yeah, I mean, there's moments where you're like, fuck, maybe we need like an intermeter here,
I never done that either before I had
It's
that.
a mediator.
Like, a couple there, but never done it either. But
Yeah.
I barely fight with my wife with stupid things now. Like, oh, you left the drawer open, you shut that door. Just stupid little things. You know?
My wife left the gas on the stove twice.
That's a bad one, though.
Fucking kill me.
That's a bad You've done that?
It's fucked up. I haven't. She did it.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I leave the house and run back and think I did that and stress out about
Your
shit like
stovetop could do it. You got an old school.
It's so easy to bump into it,
yes,
dude. Yeah.
that's what she did. I think she was like cleaning and just like, oh.
Did you freak out? That's so bad, right?
Just kind of call her on it in a funny way.
Yeah. You're an awesome lady, obviously hold you down and always been there for you. It's amazing.
It's
so cool. We're lucky to have great women.
It's
in our
cool
lives.
how life sneaks up on you like that, and again, like you just like you didn't. Yeah, time just cruises.
Yeah,
like it's been 25 years.
But having a best friend and a woman that backs you like that, or a partner, it's just like because essentially we're just running around playing this crazy music and being big kids. We are adults. We do pay the bills. We have the responsibilities, but also we're just out there. Like, especially our kids are older now. It's different too.
I think like getting getting stuff out of my system at a younger age helped me. Growing up in New York, you grow up fast.
Yeah.
And like kind of, doing a lot, I think. And I think for her too, like she modeled. And so that just getting a lot of shit out of your system. So you hit a point where you're like, all right. For me, it was like, I don't want to just keep dating. Like, well, sure, I'm going to meet someone else. And then I'm going to meet someone else. And I'm going to meet someone else. And I'm going to meet someone else. And it's like, you could do that. But I hit a point where I was like, I want to double down on this and go deeper and dig into it.
It's awesome.
It's cool.
I can't imagine having dating apps back then. That's like all these kids know is like dating apps and just the internet and all that. Like,
right.
Just like meeting people in real life. And
what's the report? Is it fun or is it not fun?
I mean, for these kids, that's all they know. You know what I mean? That's all. They don't know like going out and meeting somebody at a club or.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they do that now, but these apps like these, it's crazy, bro.
Organically.
Yeah. Just
passing
meeting people
notes.
face to face. Even just how we found music, how we discovered things, how we went to concerts and shows. Like, oh, I'll see you at CB's next Sunday. Didn't talk to that person all week. There was no phones. But then you show up and you guys were all there. That's
I was thinking about was the collect calls. Like, so you'd make a collect call, but when you would make a collect call, but you just wanted to convey a message. So it's like, you have a collect call from maybe on 14th Street and 6th Avenue.
Dude, that's so true.
Do you accept? And you just say no, because it's like.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Or those dialers. Remember those dialers for Tory? Have those like it's like a Radio Shack thing that converted into some sort of scam. You can make coin sounds on payphones, dude.
Yeah.
Sometimes the operator like, excuse me, sir, please try real money. I hang up like, oh my God, they know what I'm doing. Those were so sick. The dialers. We
had like an MCI military card number that someone gave us for a
calling cards
youth today in Europe. It was a number or something.
Weird.
And
MCI, dude.
And like, you just put it in and then you just call. And then I would call and check my answering machine a lot from Europe.
You would?
And then I came home and I got a phone call like, hello, this is like special services at MCI. Like, we think that there was someone that was like illegally, calling this number a lot. And we think that it might have been a group of kids or something.
No way.
And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and then I just like hung up the phone. I went to my mom and I was just like, if someone calls you from MCI, like just don't say that anything.
I remember running up phone bills at MAD or different venues, like using their phone.
Yes.
And then Mark would get at us after that. Stop using the phone at venues, calling home and stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to communicate, though. It's so crazy how easy it is now with just everything now. It's just easy to connect to people, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went through all that. We were outside most of our lives doing everything, but now it's like, it'll
be different in 10 or 20 years. It'll be, your son and our kids will be like, yo, remember that? We used to have like
social media and all that.
Snapchat.
I know.
It's not going to be around in 20 years.
It's not going to, right?
Yeah.
I hope not.
No.
I thought the other day it'd be so cool if like social media just ended like right now.
I've heard about some like backlash, and I don't. Maybe I'm just it's hopeful, optimistic thinking, but I don't know if that's true.
On social media. You mean?
Yeah, just how kids are using like film now and like film cameras and like not really using social media, and the kids definitely don't use Facebook, and they're not really using Instagram, and like, which is
kids have flip phones too. I heard. Too.
Yeah. So shout
all
out to
the throwback stuff's coming back. That's so cool, man.
As I look over your left shoulder, you got a fucking dial-up phone on your
wall. Yeah,
and
so my wife taught my son how to call his friends during his childhood on that phone. No cell phones in this house for him, like a rotary phone, calling people's houses, which was so cool.
That's amazing.
Half kids can't dial phones like that.
Dude, the amount of patience it takes to dial on that phone, you got to wait. If you have a fucking 9, if your number's like 999, that shit takes forever.
But it's just cool to have that ring in the house and just like Max calling his friends.
Like,
because for Max growing up, it was like it's too personal to call somebody on the phone. You have to text them. If you meet a girl, you don't call them right away. That's too personal. Hear their voice. You can't do that.
Right.
It's texting first or talking through Snapchat or these devices. It's crazy, bro.
Bring back the collect phone call style.
Yeah.
You have a collect call from Max. What's up? Let's get dinner piece.
Me at Runyon Canyon.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here. This is awesome, dude.
Totally. I want to
Good
wait.
flow, man.
So I got to wait like another 300 podcasts.
No, you don't, dude.
I'll come back.
But what about some hip hop? You listen to new hip hop, or new hip hop and new hardcore? You listen to
Lil Sims is new hip hop, maybe.
Really?
She just dropped a record. My daughter listens to Little Sims, so I was listening to that this morning with her.
Okay.
Little Sims is dope. Are you familiar?
No.
Have you ever watched Top Boy?
Yes, a couple times.
So Little Sims is in.
Oh,
Top
that's
Boy.
right. I heard about this girl. Okay, I heard. Okay.
She's great. You'll dig her.
What about hardcore stuff? Are you going to shows?
I'm going to shows. I'm checking out shit. I'd like to think I have my finger on the pulse, but I really don't. I try though. I make notes and stuff. Because I'm trying to find bands for Revelation, to be honest. And also just for my bands to play with. A lot of times,
Trust is strictly catalog stuff. Bringing that back. Okay.
Trust doesn't put out new bands; it's catalog. So it's old like shit. Like what needs to come back, and then it's like who owns their master. So it's really limited. It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's like what band do people really want, and that we could do a good job putting out that actually own their master, or the label wants to sell it or whatever. So it's hard. But again,
Chromax Age of Core will be a fucking game changer.
It is. It's just it's
a great one.
I think politically it's like tied up in a bunch of weird things, but it's not impossible. So I think it's all about being patient and but with Rev, it's putting out it's new bands.
Yeah.
It's new. It's like in the A&R process, there's not really much of like a process. It's what we really like, but there's Jordan and Adam and myself and a few other folks, and it's like finding out what makes sense. I love I think it's smart to put out new younger bands. So like this band Spaced from Buffalo are really dope. We put out a Painted Black record. There's a band called Speedway from Sweden that are really good. So yeah, just like finding new bands.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about somebody that we know that has been doing music his whole life and never really worked, was this Walter Schreifels, who is a machine, dude. Like incredible songwriter. I put him up there. Walter Schreifels to me is like the East Coast Tim Armstrong. Yeah. Like he continues to create and make music, so many different styles, and just never stop making. Probably the longest running record label contract on Island Records, whatever. I think he was signed to that forever, dude.
I think there's a lot to be said for playing the long game.
Yeah.
And
he's just done music
and thinking down the road and thinking how if you do this, it might affect something. Just like he just has a way of, putting out great quality music, which that's the main thing, but then also just making the right decisions and
being consistent, being relevant, in the mix for the young bands as well, like playing just everything. That's why he's doing acoustic right now in Brazil. Yeah. But like never stopping, dude. Like always had a project, dude. Always.
Yeah.
So I put him up there, really top songwriters from our generation, with our world,
Yeah. No, it's fun when you watch your friends it goes from like, cool, that's a good record to, oh, you put out 2 records. Oh shit, you're a good songwriter.
Yeah.
Like you're writing, these are great,
Start Today record, Civ record.
Great fucking songs. Yeah.
You've been in so many bands with him too. Like it's cool, man.
Yep.
Shout out to Schreifels, man.
Yeah.
Moved to Berlin for a while, all that stuff. He's just he's just so cool. And he's just like, I don't know. He's kind of aging backwards too. It's like Benjamin Buttons, dude. Every time I see him, he's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he's great.
He started running during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like killing it. Kind of inspired me to start running more, I think, honestly, during that time.
He's produced. He just built a recording studio in his house upstate.
Oh, wow.
Producing a lot. And he actually just produced his nephew, Dylan Jr., has a band called Two Way Radio. And they're actually playing with, you should check it. They have a song.
Dylan's Kids good band. Wow, dude.
Really good. Two Way Radio.
Okay.
And I think they're doing a record, or they recorded more songs with Walter. And they're playing with rival schools in a few weeks on the East Coast.
No way. Okay. Yeah. I think he produced Title Fight too back then, probably.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, damn, Sammy. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man. I love this.
This is great. Do you answer your Instagram, but people DM you or send you messages? Or?
I answer. I'm on it. Me. I'm bouncing around between my 8
stuff.
things. Yeah, Mr. SZA. Holler at me.
Yeah. What was that from?
Just the RZA, this Jizza, the SZA.
Okay.
Just try come up with something.
I always wondered what that was, Mr. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. SZA. Then my email is Mr. Sammy-san because I was at. Yeah, we were in Japan with Civ, and we were all waiting for a taxi to pick us up, and the guy comes in and he goes, Mr. Semi-san, and that kind of stuck.
One more question.
Yeah.
Do you have one band that you love playing the most with, or are they all pretty much equal?
They're all equal and awesome in different ways, and it just depends. I mean, the Rival Schools is just like, it's nice. These days it's really nice to play those songs. They're just like, it's not thrash and it's just like good tunes. I can chill a little bit, but But no, they're all great.
Yeah.
They're all great. Tough ones.
It's all different. It's all
like
different.
my babies in different ways, you know?
It's all like a different vibe, different energy.
Yeah. I'm playing with 7 Seconds a week from this Friday in San Pedro.
Oh, wow. How far is that from here?
It's close.
I want to come.
Come.
From here, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's
Shout out to all those bands you're playing, man.
Yeah,
Love all
man.
the bands. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, man. You too. Keep it up.
Thank you. We do a part 3 in like 3 years.
Let's do it.
All right, thanks for being here.
All right, brother.
Peace. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details of anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo off in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance podcast is now with Removery. Call 866-934-4570 or go to removery.com. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art Pico-Way laser technology. Cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Definitely check out One Life One Chance podcast, episode 281. I have Carmen Brody, Mike McTurnan, and Dustin Ortle from Removery. And this is over 2-hour conversation. People had submitted questions. It's an incredible conversation breaking down the do's, the don'ts, the fears, process, the results, everything you could imagine about getting a tattoo removed. It's all in this podcast. It's an incredible episode. I appreciate them all coming out for it. So check that out if you want to learn more about Removery and what it's like to get a tattoo removed. Once again, go to removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.